Before you close your eyes tonight, there's something you must know. Your bed is not just a place of rest. It is the most powerful manifestation tool you've been overlooking. While the world sleeps, unaware of its hidden power, you are about to discover how to command the universe while you dream. There is a way to activate an invisible energy flow where wealth finds you, opportunities are magnetized to you, and miracles begin to form without you lifting a finger. Tonight, I will reveal a secret blessing ritual so simple yet so potent, it will work for you in the silence of your sleep. Stay with me because once you understand this, your nights will no longer be for rest. They will be for creating the life you desire. The universe is waiting for your command. Beloved, you have been told all your life that a bed is simply a place to rest, a soft surface to lay your body upon after a long day's work. But the truth is far greater. Your bed is not just a piece of furniture, it is a sacred altar where your words are planted into the fertile soil of the invisible. You see, while your conscious mind drifts into dreams, your subconscious mind stays awake, listening, absorbing, and creating. It is in these quiet hours of the night where the universe is most receptive to your spoken word. The bed becomes a sacred space, a portal between your inner declarations and the outer manifestations that will appear in your life. Most people, unaware of this divine power, use their beds to rehearse worries. They lie down and review the debts they must pay, the problems they must solve, and the fears they carry into tomorrow. Without realizing it, they are performing a nightly ritual of lack, planting seeds of scarcity into the ethers. And life, ever obedient to vibration, returns those seeds in the form of continued struggle. But you, beloved, will do something different. You will turn your bed into a magnet for miracles. Let me explain this through an example. There was a man who had been battling with job insecurity. Every night, as he laid his head on his pillow, he would replay all his fears. What if I lose my job? What if I can't pay rent next month? Day after day, his worries grew and opportunities seemed to vanish. But then, he learned the truth of this teaching. He began to bless his bed. Before sleeping, he would place his hand on his pillow and declare, "As I sleep, doors of opportunity are opening for me. The perfect job is already on its way. The universe is aligning resources in my favor." He didn't do this with frantic desperation. He did it with calm expectancy. Within a week, a position he never applied for was offered to him. It came through an unexpected connection. He didn't struggle for it, he aligned with it. His words, spoken into the altar of his bed, had already done the work. Another woman, overwhelmed with business failures, would cry herself to sleep, affirming her defeat without realizing. She too learned this principle. She changed her nightly ritual. Every night she would touch her bedsheet and say, "This bed is blessed with the vibration of success. As I rest, new ideas are finding me. Abundance is flowing to me, silently but surely." One morning, she woke up with a sudden inspiration for a product idea. That idea turned into her most successful business. The wealth she was chasing began to chase her, all because she understood her bed was not just for sleep, but for sowing seeds of wealth. Beloved, understand this deeply. The physical act of sleeping is not the end of your day. It is the beginning of your next reality. What you declare before you sleep is written upon the ethers. The universe listens more attentively when the world is quiet. Your bed then becomes your personal altar. Just as ancient priests would approach altars to declare their sacred prayers, you approach your bed with your sacred word. But instead of begging or pleading, you will command. You will affirm, you will bless. When you lay your head down tonight, Do not allow the mind to wander into lack. Instead, place your hand upon your bed and speak. This bed is the foundation of my abundance. As I sleep, I am magnetizing wealth, success, and divine ideas. The universe is working in my favor while I rest. Feel the shift in energy. The bed becomes more than fabric and wood. It becomes a field of creation, a sacred ground where your words plant seeds into the invisible soil of the universe. You are not required to understand how it will happen. You are only required to speak, to believe, and to bless. Your blessing is the instruction. The manifestation is the universe's response. Remember, beloved, you are not using effort in this ritual, you are using alignment. Sleep is a time of surrender, but surrender does not mean passivity. Surrender means releasing control of the how while boldly affirming the what. So tonight, let your last words be words of power. Your bed is your sacred altar. Your words are the offering, and life will always reflect the energy you have sown. Beloved, many people believe that when they go to bed at night, all of them goes to sleep, their thoughts, their worries, their energy. But this is a misunderstanding. While your body rests, your subconscious mind remains fully awake, listening, recording, and creating. Your subconscious mind is like a faithful servant. It does not argue, it does not analyze, it simply accepts what you give it, especially the words you feed it right before you sleep. It is at night, in the silence of sleep, where your last command becomes its entire focus. You may think you are done for the day, but your subconscious is just beginning its work. Let me explain through a powerful example that will open your eyes. There was a young woman who used to sleep worrying about her debts. Every night she would lie in bed thinking, I don't have enough. How will I pay the bills? I'm trapped. She didn't realize she was programming her subconscious with those exact instructions. Now remember, the subconscious does not judge whether the command is good or bad, positive or negative. It simply obeys. So while she slept, her subconscious mind continued to magnify those words, arranging situations, attracting people, and aligning circumstances to reflect, I don't have enough. Her reality followed her last command, but when she learned the power of this law, she changed everything. Instead of falling asleep with words of worry, she began to feed her subconscious a new command. Every night, before sleep, she would place her hand upon her heart and declare, As I sleep, money flows to me in ways I cannot yet see. I am a magnet for abundance. My subconscious is guiding me towards divine opportunities. She did this for 7 nights. On the 8th day, she received a phone call offering her a part-time consultancy project, something she hadn't even applied for. The offer came with a significant advance payment. It seemed like magic, but it wasn't magic. It was law. Her subconscious had obeyed her last command, even while she slept. Beloved, you must understand, the subconscious mind never sleeps. It takes your last spoken word and works tirelessly to bring it into form. You may think you're done for the day, but your subconscious is listening for your final instruction. Most people fall asleep reviewing their failures, rethinking their mistakes, or worrying about what might go wrong tomorrow. They are unknowingly planting weeds in the garden of their mind, and the subconscious, being so obedient, will grow those weeds into circumstances that mirror back the same failures, mistakes, and worries. But you, my dear, will do something different. You will give your subconscious mind a new assignment. Before you sleep, you will declare, My subconscious is the architect of my abundance. As I rest, It is designing solutions, attracting wealth, and opening new doors for me. You do not need to understand the how. You only need to give the command. Imagine for a moment a factory worker who is awaiting instructions. If you tell him nothing is working, everything is a failure, he will go and build a failure. But if you say, prepare for success, align resources for my next opportunity, he will get to work immediately, even while you are unaware. Your subconscious mind is that factory. It does not sleep. It does not pause. It builds whatever you order. Another man, an entrepreneur burdened with constant business setbacks, discovered this law. He was exhausted from chasing solutions during the day and would fall asleep muttering, "Nothing ever works out." His subconscious, ever faithful, continued delivering the reality of nothing works out. When he learned the truth, he began a new practice. Before sleeping, he spoke this command into his subconscious. As I sleep, the perfect clients are being drawn to my business. Solutions are flowing to me with ease. My subconscious is leading me to unexpected success. Within days, a client he had been pursuing for months finally responded. New business inquiries began to appear out of nowhere. He did not chase, he aligned. The subconscious had been working the entire time. It simply needed a new blueprint to follow. Beloved, tonight, before you close your eyes, I ask you, what blueprint are you giving your subconscious to build? Will you continue to feed it the old patterns of fear, or will you plant a new command that aligns with the abundance you desire? Say to yourself, as I sleep, my subconscious is creating miracles on my behalf. I am divinely guided, richly blessed, and every word I speak becomes my reality. The subconscious mind does not sleep. It obeys your last word. Make sure that word is rich with power. Beloved, every thought you think, every word you speak is a seed, and the universe, being the ever-faithful gardener, nurtures those seeds into form. You do not get to choose whether you are planting. You are always planting, but you do get to choose what you are planting. Most people are unconsciously scattering seeds of worry into the garden of their lives. They believe worry is a sign of responsibility, that by rehearsing their fears they are somehow protecting themselves. But the law is very clear. Worry is not protection. Worry is permission. When you worry, you are granting permission for the very thing you fear to take root and grow. I want you to picture a farmer standing in his field. He holds in one hand a bag of rotten, decaying seeds labeled lack, and in the other hand, a bag of golden, vibrant seeds labeled prosperity. Every time he thinks, "What if I lose my income?" he drops a rotten seed into the earth. Every time he speaks, "Money is hard to come by," he plants another one. And the earth, without question, begins to grow exactly what he planted. But now imagine if that same farmer paused before every word he spoke, realizing his words were seeds, and said instead, "The riches of the universe are flowing to me now." Suddenly, he is planting seeds of gold, seeds that cannot help but sprout into visible prosperity. Beloved, blessing is the antidote to worry. Where worry plants weeds, blessing plants harvests of abundance. Let me share with you an example that will make this truth undeniable. A man struggling to make ends meet was known for his worrying. He would hold his paychecks and mutter, "It's never enough. How will this last?" And true to his words, it never was. The more he worried, the more unexpected expenses appeared. Broken appliances, surprise bills, His life was mirroring his internal garden of fear. One day he learned the law of blessing. He decided to try an experiment. Instead of dreading his next paycheck, he held it in his hands and said, "This money is blessed. Every dollar multiplies. I am grateful for the flow of wealth that never stops." He blessed his money, not out of superstition, but out of knowing that blessing plants seeds the universe must grow. Within weeks, he noticed his money stretching further. Discounts appeared, small gifts showed up. He even received a freelance project offer he hadn't expected. His income did not suddenly triple, but his experience of abundance shifted because he had planted a different crop. Worry had been replaced with blessing, and the harvest had no choice but to reflect it. You see, beloved, blessing is a spiritual declaration that aligns you with the divine flow. When you bless your life, your money, your circumstances, you are declaring that they are under the law of good. You are commanding them to multiply, to flourish, to thrive. There was also a shop owner who used to bless her empty shop. Every morning, despite low sales, she would open the door, stand in the middle, and say, "This shop is blessed with divine prosperity. Customers are drawn here by divine right. Every item is sold with joy." At first, it felt silly. There were no customers, but she persisted, planting seeds of blessing daily. Slowly, foot traffic increased. People commented that her shop felt so positive, so welcoming. What had changed? Not the shop, not the products, only the seeds she had been planting with her words. Beloved, I want you to understand deeply. Worry is a habit of focusing on what you don't want. Blessing is the discipline of focusing on what you choose to create. One feeds fear, the other feeds faith. You might ask, "But Florence, how can I bless something that feels so lacking?" And I say to you, bless it because it feels lacking. That is the very moment it needs your spoken word of increase. You are not describing what is, you are prescribing what must be. Tonight, when you lie in bed, do not rehearse your worries. Instead, place your hand on your heart and declare, "I bless my life. I bless my finances. I bless my home. I bless my ideas. Everything I bless multiplies." Let this become your nightly ritual. Let blessing replace worry, for the universe is not moved by how much you stress. It is moved by how much you bless. Every word you speak is a seed. Worry will grow weeds. Blessing will grow abundance. You get to choose your harvest, beloved. Beloved, now that you understand how every word you speak is a seed, and how worry plants weeds while blessing plants prosperity, you must now take the next step. You must declare with power, not with hesitation, not with doubt, but with the absolute authority of one who knows that the universe must obey. There is a divine principle that is often overlooked by those who strive, struggle, and overwork. Abundance is not created by effort. It is created by alignment, and alignment begins with your declaration. Every night before you sleep, the universe leans in to hear your final word. It is not interested in your struggles. It is waiting for your command. The declaration you speak with faith becomes the blueprint that your subconscious follows, even as you rest. When you say, "As I sleep, divine abundance flows to me," you are not making a wish. You are issuing a spiritual decree. You are telling the unseen forces that wealth, opportunities, and resources must align in your favor, even while you dream. This declaration is not empty repetition. It is an instruction given to the creative substance of the universe. And beloved, the substance does not argue. It responds. Let me give you a simple example that will refresh this understanding. There was a young man who worked tirelessly, often staying up late, worrying about his small business. Every night, he would go to bed mentally listing all the things that were going wrong: poor sales, pending bills, unanswered emails. Despite his effort, his situation never improved. But then, he decided to change his nightly ritual. Instead of carrying his burdens into sleep, he chose to plant a different seed. Every night, as he lay in bed, he placed his hand on his heart and declared with power, "As I sleep, divine abundance flows to me. My business is expanding in ways I cannot yet see. Prosperity is working behind the scenes on my behalf." He spoke it not once, but with conviction, as if it were already done. Within a few days, a former client reached out unexpectedly with a large order. Another opportunity came through a simple referral. He did not chase these results. They were drawn to him by the vibration he had set in motion. Beloved, your declaration is the key that opens doors you cannot see with your physical eyes. When you speak abundance into the ethers, you activate the law of return. What you send out must come back. But there's a vital detail you must remember. It is not enough to whisper your desires. You must declare them with power. The universe does not respond to begging. It responds to boldness rooted in faith. When you declare, "As I sleep, divine abundance flows to me," you are not asking if it's possible. You are announcing that it is inevitable. You are shifting your vibration from seeker to receiver, from effort to alignment. This nightly declaration becomes the bridge between your waking thoughts and your sleeping creation. Your conscious mind may rest, but your subconscious takes the instruction and begins orchestrating the details. You may not see immediate results the very next morning, but understand this: the vibration has already been set in motion. The channels are opening, the resources are aligning, the opportunities are circling their way back to you. Your role is not to figure out how. Your role is to declare with unwavering faith that it is already happening. And beloved, here's a simple refresher to keep this principle alive in your heart. Every night before you sleep, visualize a gentle river of golden light flowing towards you. This is divine abundance. With each breath, this river brings new ideas, unexpected opportunities, and financial blessings into your life. Speak into this vision and declare, "I am open, I am aligned. As I sleep, divine abundance flows to me effortlessly." Feel it, believe it, declare it with the authority of one who knows the truth. This declaration prepares you for the next truth you must embrace. Life responds not to how long you wait, but to how boldly you command. In the next step of your journey, you will learn how to remove the final block, how to stop neutralizing your declarations by mixing them with doubt. But tonight, your focus is singular. Speak your abundance into existence. Speak it as if it already is. For as you sleep, invisible forces are already working in your favor. Beloved, I have taught you that your words are seeds, but now you must understand the force that makes those seeds grow. Expectation. Expectation is not a passive hope. It is not sitting quietly, wishing something good might happen. No, expectation is a magnetic force. It charges your words with power and sends a vibration into the ethers that commands results to find you. You see, many people speak affirmations, but they neutralize them with doubt. They say, "I am prosperous," but within their hearts they quietly whisper, "I hope this works." This is where most people fail, not because their words lack power, but because their expectations are filled with hesitation. Beloved, I am here to awaken you to a higher truth. The universe responds to the boldness of your expectation, not the desperation of your need. You must expect your words to manifest as surely as you expect the sun to rise. Let me tell you about a woman who learned this principle and how her aggressive expectation brought wealth into her life without struggle. She was an ordinary woman with an extraordinary debt. She had no wealthy family, no influential connections, but what she had was a decision. She decided to expect her prosperity as a divine right. Every night, she would stand before her bed, place her hands on the mattress, and declare, "This bed is a magnet for divine riches. As I sleep, I expect money, ideas, and opportunities to come to me with ease." She didn't say it as a wish, she said it as a command. She spoke as if the wealth was already circling her bed, waiting for her permission to enter. Now here's where most people give up. They say their affirmations, and then wait anxiously, watching the clock, questioning, when will it happen, but not her. She would go to sleep with a smile, knowing that the invisible had already begun to move. Within 2 weeks, a friend she hadn't spoken to in years called her about a collaborative project. That project not only cleared her debts, but opened a consistent stream of income. She did not chase this result. She did not beg for it. She expected it. Beloved, expectation is the electric current that charges your words. Without it, affirmations are like arrows without a target. But when you speak and expect, you are aligning with the universal law that cannot fail. When you declare, "As I sleep, divine abundance flows to me," do you feel the certainty of that statement? Or do you speak it while secretly worrying about how it will happen? You must release the how. The how belongs to the divine. Your role is the what. Your role is to expect. Expectation is not arrogance. It is alignment. It is understanding that you are not making demands. You are claiming what is already yours by divine right. Now let me give you a powerful refresher to imprint this truth upon your heart. Every night, as you prepare to sleep, I want you to visualize your bed glowing with a soft golden light. This light represents the wealth, ideas, and miracles that are being magnetized to you. As you lay down, speak with authority. I expect divine surprises. I expect abundance to find me as I rest. The universe is arranging every detail in my favor. Feel the difference when you say it with expectation. Your body relaxes, but your vibration intensifies. You are no longer hoping, you are receiving. The energy shifts from wishing to knowing. And in that moment, the law of return is activated. Beloved, the universe is not asking for your effort, it is asking for your certainty. Your expectation is the proof of your belief. When you expect with confidence, the doors of manifestation cannot remain closed. From this night forward, I want you to replace every doubtful thought with the fire of expectation. If a whisper of worry tries to return, override it with this declaration. I expect only good. I expect wealth. I expect miracles. Expectation is your magnetic charge. It is the switch that turns your spoken word into visible reality. Speak with power. Expect with certainty, and watch how life must obey. Beloved, the world has taught you a dangerous lie, that in order to be wealthy you must chase opportunities, chase money, chase success. But chasing is rooted in fear. It whispers to your subconscious that wealth is running away from you, that you are somehow separate from the riches you desire. I am here to tell you a truth that will release you from this endless pursuit. You are not meant to chase wealth. You are meant to receive it. The universe does not respond to frantic effort. It responds to aligned vibration. When you sleep, your conscious mind steps aside, and the subconscious, the true architect of your life, goes to work, molding your world according to the last command you gave it. You are not working while you sleep, but your vibration is. Your words are. Your expectancy is. Let me give you an example that will open your heart to this truth. There was a woman who believed, as most do, that success required constant hustle. She worked long hours, juggling multiple jobs, yet financial freedom remained out of reach. Every night, she would collapse into bed exhausted, mentally chasing more ways to make it happen. But one evening, after hearing this very principle, she changed her approach. She realized that her bed was not just a place of recovery, it was a receiving station. That night, she laid her head on the pillow and declared, "I am no longer a chaser of wealth, I am a receiver. As I sleep, opportunities, ideas, and financial blessings are being magnetized to me." She visualized herself resting while streams of golden light, symbolizing money and success, flowed gently towards her. She didn't strive. She didn't worry. She simply received. Within days, an old acquaintance reached out with a collaboration proposal. This led to a passive income stream she had not anticipated. The work was minimal, but the return was significant. She was no longer chasing wealth, it was finding her beloved. This is not coincidence. This is law. When you declare with authority and allow yourself to receive, the universe responds with precision. You see, the act of chasing vibrates with lack. It affirms that you are separate from the good you desire. But receiving is an act of alignment. It's the vibration of knowing that what you seek is already seeking you. Every night, as you prepare to sleep, you have a choice to fall into bed with the energy of chasing, or to enter sleep as a receiver of divine abundance. When you lie down tonight, place your hand upon your heart and declare, "I am in receiving mode. My wealth is not somewhere out there, it is flowing to me now, in expected and unexpected ways." Feel the shift in your energy. You are no longer a pursuer, you are a magnet. And here's a simple refresher to anchor this into your subconscious. Visualize yourself sleeping while golden threads of prosperity weave themselves into your life. You are not running after success. You are resting in its embrace. Beloved, the richest ideas often come in dreams, not in boardrooms. The most divine opportunities flow to those who are aligned, not those who are frantic. Your work is not in the chase, it is in the command. Understand this. Your vibration never sleeps. While your body rests, your energetic field continues to attract, align, and orchestrate your desires into form. The universe does not require your exhaustion. It requires your alignment. From this night forward, do not lie in bed chasing how things will happen. Instead, declare boldly, "I am a receiver of divine abundance. As I sleep, wealth flows to me effortlessly. I do not chase, I attract." You will find that the harder you chase, the further wealth seems to run. But the moment you stand still, aligned in the vibration of receiving, wealth comes to greet you. Beloved, your bed is not a finish line. It is a starting point of miracles. You are not asleep to the universe. You are awake in spirit, receiving all that is yours by divine right. Remember this truth. While you sleep, the invisible is working. You are not chasing wealth. You are receiving it. Beloved, every night when the world grows quiet, when the noise fades and the outer world seems to sleep, the invisible world awakens, ready to receive your word. It is in these sacred moments, when you are free from the distractions of the day, that you are closest to the creative forces that mold your reality. Many people treat night as a time of escape. They fall into bed, defeated, carrying the weight of their worries, thinking tomorrow will somehow be different. But I am here to tell you a secret. Tomorrow is created by the words you speak tonight. Every night is not an ending. It is a divine opportunity to align yourself with the flow of abundance. You may think you are resting, but the universe is listening. The ethers are tuned into your vibration. Your subconscious mind is standing alert, awaiting your final instruction. When you lie in bed, you are standing at the threshold of manifestation. The words you speak before sleep do not disappear into the silence. No, beloved, they become blueprints. They are taken up by the unseen forces that work through the night, shaping your reality according to the vibration you have spoken. Let me share a simple yet powerful example to make this truth alive in your heart. A young artist, struggling to gain recognition, used to fall asleep worrying about her future. "No one sees my work. I don't know how to succeed," she would mutter into her pillow, and life, faithful to her words, continued to mirror back obscurity. But one night she decided to change the script. She began a new ritual. Before sleep, she would close her eyes and speak into the darkness. "I am aligned with divine opportunities. My art is a magnet for success. As I rest, my work is reaching those who need it most." She didn't worry about the how. She declared her truth and released it into the ethers. Within days, a gallery owner discovered her portfolio through a friend's social media post. That introduction became the turning point of her career. Did she chase this outcome? No, she aligned. She declared, she spoke, and the universe obeyed. Beloved, you must realize that every night is an invitation to become the author of your life. You are not at the mercy of circumstances. You are the commander of substance. When you lie in bed tonight, do not allow your mind to replay the failures of the day. Do not carry the burdens of lack into the silence. Instead, speak with intention, speak with authority. Declare into the ethers the reality you choose to experience. Say aloud, "I am now aligned with divine abundance. As I sleep, the universe is arranging every detail for my success. Wealth, health, and happiness are flowing to me now." These words are not idle wishes. They are commands issued from a soul that knows its authority. And the universe, bound by spiritual law, must respond. But there is a key, beloved. You must speak with belief. Words without belief are like seeds thrown onto stone, but words spoken with faith are planted into fertile ground, destined to grow. Every night the ethers refresh. The vibrations you carry from the day can be reset. This is your moment of power. You may not control what happened hours ago, but you absolutely control the vibration you will send into your future. Your words are the steering wheel of your destiny. Each night, before you surrender to sleep, you hold in your mouth the power to direct the course of your life. You are never helpless. You are never without choice. You are never too late. From this moment forward, I want you to see every night as a divine appointment. It is your meeting with the unseen forces that create worlds. When you speak into the ethers, you are writing tomorrow's script. Do not waste this sacred time with worry. Do not rehearse defeat. Instead, bless your life with every word. Speak into the silence, and the silence will echo back your desires. Beloved, every night is a doorway, and your word is the key. Open it with faith. Declare your abundance. Align with the truth that wealth is already flowing to you. Beloved, today you have been given a truth that will set you free, not in some distant future, but tonight, the moment you choose to act. You now understand that your bed is not just for rest. It is a spiritual altar where your words take root. Every time you lay down, you are not merely closing your eyes, you are opening a portal to abundance. You have learned that the subconscious mind never sleeps. While you rest, it listens for your final command and molds your reality accordingly. It does not judge, it obeys. The last word you speak becomes the foundation of your next experience. You now know that worry plants seeds of lack, but blessing plants seeds of prosperity. Every thought, every declaration is a seed. The question is no longer, am I planting? The question is, what am I choosing to grow? You have been reminded that your declaration is not a wish, it is a command. When you boldly declare, as I sleep, divine abundance flows to me, you are not asking if it might happen. You are setting the vibration that it must. You've seen how expectation is the magnetic charge behind your words. It is not enough to speak. You must expect the universe to respond. The energy of knowing pulls miracles into your field. You've realized that you are not chasing wealth. You are not a beggar running after blessings. You are a receiver. You are a magnet. While you sleep, the invisible forces are working in your favor, orchestrating outcomes beyond your comprehension. And finally, you have awakened to this. Every night is a divine opportunity to align with abundance through your spoken word. You do not need to wait for life to change. You need to speak life into the ethers tonight. You hold the pen. You are the author. The greatest lesson I can give you, beloved, is this. Life is not responding to your effort. It is responding to your vibration. And your vibration is crafted by the words you dare to declare when no one is watching. Every night, you are at a crossroads. You can carry your worries into sleep, or you can plant declarations of abundance that will return to you multiplied. The universe is not moved by how much you try. It is moved by how much you believe. So I ask you, before you sleep tonight, take a moment, place your hand on your heart, and declare, I am aligned with divine abundance. As I sleep, I am receiving wealth, success, and miracles. My word is law. My life must obey. And now, beloved, if these words have stirred something within you, if you felt this truth resonate in your heart, I invite you to take inspired action in this moment. Like this video as a declaration of your alignment with abundance. Share this message with those who are ready to stop chasing and start receiving. And leave a comment below. Tell me, what words are you choosing to plant into your life tonight? Your support is not just for me. It is a ripple that multiplies the vibration of prosperity in your own life. As you uplift this message, you uplift yourself. And beloved, this is not the end. In the next videos, we will go even deeper. Together, we will uncover more divine secrets, more powerful affirmations, and more ways to command life to work in your favor. You are not here by chance. You are here because your soul is ready to stop living by effort and start living by divine alignment. The words you speak tonight will be the reality you live tomorrow. Speak wisely, declare boldly, and watch as life rearranges itself to deliver your desires.
I have heard it said, your world rises or falls by your mouth. And I say to you now, there is only one poverty on this earth, and that is the poverty of the spoken word. You do not suffer lack because of a missing opportunity, a collapsed market, or an empty bank account. No, you suffer lack because you have trained your tongue to speak it. You have said, I can't afford it, and the world said, so be it. You have said, Money is tight, and the universe tightened the stream. You have muttered, "Things never go my way," and the law said, "As thou hast spoken, so shall it be done unto thee." Let me ask you, what if the real enemy was not your job, your debt, or your economy, but the very words that pass through your lips each morning? What if the limit is not in your account, but in your vocabulary? I say this with fire. The most expensive thing you will ever do is complain. One sentence of doubt, one whisper of fear, one habitual sigh of "not enough" invites the entire realm of limitation to your doorstep. You see, every word you speak is a decree. Every phrase you utter builds form in the unseen. You are a spiritual architect. You are always commanding, always creating. But what are you creating? A palace of plenty or a prison of lack? Too many build daily with bricks of worry and mortar of fear, then cry at the outcome of their own spiritual design. I remember once a woman saying to me, "I've done every affirmation in the book, Florence, but my situation hasn't changed." I asked her plainly, "What do you say when no one's listening?" She paused. "Well, I guess I still say, I don't know how I'll make it." And I told her the truth. That sentence alone has canceled every affirmation you've ever spoken. You cannot affirm abundance for 10 minutes in the morning and then speak defeat all afternoon. The law is not mocked. The universe responds to rhythm, not rehearsal. So I give you this revelation at the start of our time together. Train your mouth, and you train your life. If you desire unlimited supply, you must become incapable of speaking anything less. If you seek abundance, you must outlaw every phrase of poverty from your lips. As it is written, death and life are in the power of the tongue, and they that love it shall eat the fruit thereof. Your fruits have not failed you. Your tongue has. You may have inherited a family of worriers. You may have learned to vent, to fret, to joke about being broke. But you are not bound to that tongue. You can retrain it. You can cleanse it. You can awaken it to speak only supply, only surplus, only sufficiency, and more. You are not at the mercy of the world. You are at the mercy of your own mouth. And your words, yes, even the ones spoken in frustration, are writing the next chapter of your life. So the question is not, where will I get my provision? But, what am I speaking into the law today? Let every other voice be silenced now. Let doubt and debt bow before the throne of your command. For you are about to retrain the most powerful tool God gave you, your tongue, and align it with the river of unlimited supply. Speak rightly, and all things are added unto you. Let the mouth that cursed you now bless you. Let the tongue that bound you now set you free. And let the sentence you speak next be one that ends lack forever. The tongue is not flesh. The tongue is not bone. The tongue is law in motion. The tongue is a wand, a rudder, a spiritual key that unlocks or binds. Scripture declares, "The tongue is a small member, yet it boasts of great things. With it we bless God, and with it we curse men." But I say to you, the greatest curse ever released is not against another, but against oneself, when a man curses his own supply with his mouth. It is written in the book of James that the tongue is like the helm of a great ship, tiny, but it turns the whole vessel. That vessel is your life, and your tongue is steering it right now. Where is it going? Toward overflow, or toward famine? Toward divine provision, or toward man-made struggle? Your tongue is not an accessory. It is not decoration. It is an instrument of causation. What you continually say becomes what you eventually see. What you speak becomes. You may fast, you may pray, you may tithe, you may hustle, but if your mouth is full of contradiction, your harvest will collapse under the weight of your own undoing. The universe was spoken into existence. Let there be light, and there was light. God did not negotiate it. He did not explain it. He did not qualify it. He spoke, and the law obeyed. So why then do you imagine that you, made in the image and likeness of God, can speak of debt, of disaster, of delay, and expect divine supply to arrive anyway. Every time you say, I can't afford that, you are worshiping limitation. Every time you say, I'm broke, you are prophesying bondage. And every time you say, it's hard to make money, you are enshrining that difficulty into law. The law of the tongue is no respecter of persons. It obeys whoever speaks. I have seen the most talented men remain poor because their mouths were lazy. I have seen humble women walk into wealth because their mouths were faithful. The question is not, do I deserve it? The question is, have I spoken it? You see, the spoken word is a spiritual seed. It never disappears. It enters the invisible and attaches itself to form. And like all seeds, it brings forth after its kind. The word struggle births struggle. The word overflow births overflow. The word never enough becomes an atmosphere. The word unlimited supply becomes a magnetic field. There is no neutral word. All speech is charged. It is either a decree of dominion or a declaration of defeat. And so I say to you again, your tongue is your instrument of wealth. Train it to play the music of abundance. Speak these now with me. My words are my wealth. My mouth is a magnet for divine supply. I no longer partner with poverty, not even in jest. I bless my life with every sentence. Do you feel the shift? The law responds to rhythm, not repetition. Speak like the one who holds the keys to the kingdom. Speak like the heir you already are. Speak like God is listening, because He is. And more than listening, He is multiplying what you say. So then, do not throw away your inheritance with one more careless phrase. Retrain the tongue. Guard it like gold, because it is your first treasury. And the moment your mouth aligns with heaven, earth must obey. The first war is never in the wallet. It is never in the paycheck. It is never in the price of gold, the collapse of a market, or the state of the nation. The first war is not in the facts. The first war is in the mouth. Every battle of supply begins with a sentence. Every financial shift begins with a whisper. And every collapse begins with a careless tongue. You do not wake up in lack. You speak your way there. Before money leaves your hands, it leaves your words. The adversary is subtle. He does not take your abundance by force. He tricks you into speaking it away. He waits for the moment you say, I don't know how I'll pay for this. And then he agrees with you. He waits for the sigh, the sarcastic remark, the casual curse over your own life, and he writes it into reality. You must understand, the enemy of divine supply does not need your body. He needs your agreement. And the fastest way he gets it is through your mouth. Think of the phrases you have heard since childhood. Money doesn't grow on trees. We can't afford that. Don't get your hopes up. That's for rich people. These phrases were not just innocent sayings. They were installations. They were verbal spells that wrote themselves onto your subconscious. And without knowing it, you memorized them. You inherited them. You even repeated them. And in repeating them, you began to build a life of agreement with lack. But now, beloved soul, the time has come to make war with the lie. Not with emotion, not with effort, but with the spoken word of truth. Every time you open your mouth, you are either reinforcing the lie or collapsing it. And if you will not rebuke it with words, the lie will remain on the throne. The battlefield is not on your doorstep. It is on your tongue. The enemy comes to tempt you into defeat speech, and you must train your mouth to reject it like poison. You may feel it rise in you, fear, frustration, complaint, but you must not let it reach your lips. You must intercept it mid-thought and declare, I am not available for lack. My mouth does not serve fear. I no longer speak against my own wealth. Because hear me now, what you do not refuse with your words, you silently invite. Some of you are fighting for your supply with effort, with stress, with sleepless nights, but you are still speaking defeat. And so the supply withholds itself, not out of cruelty, but out of law. You cannot speak against your desire and expect it to obey. Train your mouth to speak only what you want multiplied, and refuse to fight this battle in silence. Speak boldly, Speak deliberately. Speak with sacred discipline. Because once your mouth is trained, the battlefield dissolves. You no longer war for abundance. You speak it into place. Now prepare yourself. In the next section, we step into instruction in truth, how to actually speak only unlimited supply. You must now become the master of your tongue, the guardian of your gates, the overseer of your own spiritual speech. For it is not enough to silence doubt, you must replace it. It is not enough to stop speaking lack, you must speak supply. Truth must take up residence in your mouth, not as a Sunday ritual, not as a temporary affirmation, but as a permanent dialect of divine inheritance. Here is your instruction in truth. Never speak of money as though it is separate from God. Never speak of bills as though they are burdens. Never speak of supply as though it is scarce. Never speak of lack as though it is real. When someone says, "It's too expensive," you respond within yourself, "Nothing is too expensive for divine substance." When the voice of worry rises up, where will it come from? You answer, "It will come from wherever it is now, by divine law." When you look at your balance and feel the pinch, do not echo that fear, speak abundance in its place. Here is the great reversal. What you want but do not yet see must become what you speak. And what you fear but currently face must never cross your lips. Say with me now, every dollar I touch is divine substance in motion. There is no delay in divine supply. My wealth is not waiting. It is obeying my word. I speak increase and increase answers. You must become so practiced in speaking only supply that even under pressure, even in uncertainty, even in the shadow of debt, your tongue refuses to betray you. Your mouth must become unavailable to fear. You must speak of money with reverence, not resistance. You must bless the bills you pay and speak multiplication over every transaction. You must cease to vent about money with others who walk in doubt. Your mouth is not a garbage can for anxiety. It is an altar, a spiritual microphone broadcasting into the field of divine form. In your conversations, speak only overflow. In your self-talk, speak only provision. In your silent moments, whisper only truth. Do not rehearse your old situation. Replace it. Speak as one already rich, already favored, already sourced, not to pretend, but to align. Because the universe is not responding to your need. It is responding to your word. And your word must now speak only unlimited supply. Let us continue. You are now ready to begin the training of the tongue. In the next section, I will walk you step by step through the daily rhythm that reprograms your speech for abundance. You cannot tame the tongue by willpower. You cannot retrain it with silence. You must replace the rhythm of fear with the rhythm of law. Just as the pianist trains their fingers and the singer trains their voice, you must train your mouth, daily, deliberately, and with reverence. Here is how you begin. Step 1. Cleanse the mouth of poverty speech. You cannot build a temple with broken bricks. The first step is to cleanse the tongue of every phrase that dishonors divine supply. Write them down, the sentences you hear yourself speak when you're under stress. I'm broke. I can't afford that. Money goes out faster than it comes in. I don't know how I'll pay for this. It's always something. This is just how it is. These phrases are not facts, they are vows. Vows of bondage, wrapped in casual language. Renounce them now. Say aloud, I cancel every word I have spoken against my supply. I release every sentence of fear and replace it with truth. My tongue no longer cooperates with lack. Let the inner cleansing begin, not through silence, but through substitution. Step 2. Choose 3 supply sentences and speak them, morning, noon, and night. The subconscious is reprogrammed by rhythm, not effort. You must speak truth often, not just emotionally. Select 3 declarations that vibrate with truth and speak them with focus. I walk in divine supply. Every need is met before I speak it. Unexpected wealth flows to me with ease. Say these out loud 3 times each morning before you check a phone or think a thought. Say them again before lunch. Say them again at night, especially if fear tries to visit. You are creating a new oral economy, one where wealth is attracted by the voice of law, not the noise of worry. Step 3. Reject sympathy-based speech. There will come a moment at work, with family, in casual conversation, when someone will invite you back into old speech. They will say, "We're all struggling right now." They'll joke, "We're poor but happy." They'll sigh, "This economy is killing us." And in that moment, you must not participate. You must bless their speech in silence and respond with law. You can say, "I've learned to trust divine supply," or simply speak no further. Do not align with poverty, even for approval. Your mouth is not a mood ring. It is a manifestation tool. Step 4. Speak to your wallet and bank account. Do not avoid them. Do not dread them. Speak to them. Open your wallet. Look at the bills, the cards, the compartments. Say aloud, "You are always full." You overflow with divine money. Where you once held lack, you now hold law. Log into your bank account, even if the numbers disappoint you, and declare, "This is not final. This is temporary appearance. I speak increase over you now." Money multiplies in this account by divine decree. Money is not repelled by truth. It is magnetized by command. Step 5. End. Each day with supply speech. Just before sleep, when the veil is thinnest and your subconscious is listening without resistance, declare, "There is no end to God's supply. While I sleep, provision is preparing. I rise into new wealth because I speak new truth." Let these be the final vibrations your body hears. You will wake up aligned. You will move differently. You will speak with quiet authority, and money will know where to go, to the one who speaks like a spiritual heir. You are not weak. You are not behind. You have simply been untrained. And now you are being retrained. You are taking the mouth that once cursed your flow and turning it into a river of divine release. Continue. The training has begun. Poverty is not first an experience. It is a language, and for many it has become a native tongue. You learned it in your household. You practiced it in school. You reinforced it in conversation. And now, without even realizing, you've become fluent in verbal limitation. But I tell you boldly, the habit of verbal poverty must be broken, or wealth will fear your mouth. Wealth listens for invitation. It listens for praise. It listens for confident, law-anchored speech. But when it hears worry, sarcasm, complaint, or scarcity dressed up as a joke, it withdraws. Not out of punishment, but by divine law. What you mock, you block. What you rehearse, you remanifest. The most dangerous sentences are not the loudest. They are the subtle ones. I'll never be rich, but that's okay. I'm just not good with money. That's above my pay grade. I always get stuck right before breakthrough. You may think you're being humble, you're being real, you're just being honest. But what you're actually doing is carving lack into the walls of your mind with your own mouth. And the law is always listening. To break this habit, you must first observe it. Watch what you say when you're not watching. Listen to yourself in casual speech. Take inventory of every phrase that bends toward lack, frustration, or limitation. Then, interrupt it. Immediately, audibly. If you catch yourself saying, "I can't afford that," replace it instantly with, "All that is mine by divine right is now released to me." If you start to say, "I never have enough," interrupt yourself with, "God is my instant and constant supply." Do not let these phrases finish themselves. Do not give them the breath of completion. Cut them off with truth. Slice them down with scripture. Replace the groove of poverty with the groove of power. You are not a victim of speech. You are a steward. And just as a gardener removes weeds before they spread, you must now remove every weed of worry, every root of resignation, every vine of verbal defeat. The habit may try to come back. You may feel it rise in your throat. But each time you intercept it, you gain strength. Each time you replace it, you widen the channel. Each time you refuse it, you honor the law of abundance. You are not here to describe life. You are here to create it. So speak not what you've seen. Speak what God has already declared. Say this now. I am breaking the habit of poverty speech. I speak only what I want multiplied. My words no longer echo fear, they release supply. And so it is. She came to me weary. Her shoulders held the weight of 2 years of effort without reward, a business that had promise, but no profit. She said, Miss Shinn, I do all the things. I advertise, I hustle, I pray, I network. But the money trickles in like a faucet with rusted pipes. I don't understand. I listened not to her business plan, but to her words. In the span of 10 minutes, she said, business is slow right now. It's hard to stand out. I guess people just don't have money. Maybe I'm not cut out for this. And there it was. The leak wasn't in her strategy. It was in her speech. Her mouth had become a mirror of the outer world instead of a command to the unseen. I said to her, you are not tired from work. You are tired from agreeing with appearances. You are not blocked by market forces. You are blocked by your own tongue. I gave her one decree. I do not serve the economy. I serve divine supply. And I instructed her, speak it before every call. Speak it before checking your bank balance. Speak it before writing a post, making an offer, setting a price. And most importantly, do not ever again say what is not happening. She obeyed. She rewired her tongue. She kept a written list of every sentence that slipped into fear, and she replaced it with one of truth. Within a week, she received an unexpected inquiry from a former client, who not only hired her back, but referred her to 3 others. Within 2 weeks, she raised her prices, not with fear, but with faith. And by the end of the month, her income had doubled. Not because she worked harder, not because she changed her logo or rewrote her funnel, but because she trained her mouth to bless her business instead of bind it. Hear me now. It is not your job to figure out how the supply comes. It is your job to speak as one who knows it is already here. That woman did not manifest success. She stopped speaking failure. She ceased to curse her own vine, and suddenly the fruit appeared. There is no hustle more powerful than a sanctified tongue. There is no marketing plan greater than a mouth aligned with God. Say this with me now. I speak life to my business. I call in overflow by my decree. My words are the first transaction of wealth. I do not hustle. I harmonize with supply. Now watch what happens when your tongue becomes your first investor. There are 3 phrases I call forbidden, not because they offend people, but because they violate law. They do not align with truth. They do not honor divine supply. They speak defeat into form. And if you wish to walk in abundance, you must never let them pass your lips again. Forbidden phrase number 1. I can't afford it. This phrase is not a budget, it's a curse. It shuts the door to divine channels. It tells your subconscious, we live in a world of limits, and it commands the universe to match that frequency. Instead, if something is not for you at the moment, say, if it is mine by divine right, it will come to me with ease. This affirms truth without denying appearance. It leaves the gate open for provision to arrive through unexpected channels. Remember, you don't serve the number in your account. You serve infinite supply. Forbidden phrase number 2. That's too expensive. When you say this, you are not judging the item. You are judging yourself. You are announcing to heaven, I do not believe I'm worthy of increase. You are affirming lack consciousness every time you put a price tag above your identity. Replace it with, divine substance meets all desires. If this is for me, it is already paid for in full. This removes the limitation and aligns you with receptivity. The kingdom is not cheap, but it is rich in supply. There is no virtue in staying small to survive the price. Forbidden phrase number 3. Money is tight. This one slips out of so many mouths during stress, bills, or business lulls, but it is one of the most spiritually dangerous phrases you can speak. Why? Because it implies that money is the source and God is not. It projects restriction, which creates resistance. Instead, say, "Money flows freely and multiplies wherever I speak blessing." You are not here to measure your provision. You are here to declare it, to speak it, to align with it. Speak as one who knows the faucet of God cannot run dry. These three phrases are not harmless. They are agreements, spoken covenants with lack. And every time you say them, you reset your vibration to deficiency. You must now decide, will you speak from fear or from faith? Will you repeat the language of the world or the law of the Spirit? Let this be your new decree. I no longer serve these phrases. My mouth is reserved for supply. My speech multiplies what I want, not what I fear. Now walk forward with a sanctified tongue and refuse to rent your voice to the enemy of increase. You cannot speak abundance from a mouth that has not first beheld it in the mirror. The mirror is not just a surface of glass. It is the gate of agreement. It is where you must come face to face with the creator of your financial reality. Not your job, not your bank, not your past. You. The mirror reveals what the mouth has accepted, and the mouth reveals what the mirror still believes. If you cannot look yourself in the eyes and declare, "I am the vessel of unlimited supply," then every other affirmation will be hollow. I tell you now with authority, you must look yourself in the face and align your identity with your declarations. Not once, not weekly, but daily. Here is your instruction. Stand before the mirror. Let no fear linger behind your eyes. Let no shame hover in your posture. Let no doubt whisper from the corners of your mouth. Look boldly and say, "You are not a beggar. You are a builder of worlds." You are not waiting on provision. You are walking in it. Your reflection is not debt. It is dominion. Your face is the face God finances. Supply flows to you because you have finally agreed. Say it until your face changes. Say it until your voice deepens. Say it until the old image shatters and the truth of who you are emerges. This is not vanity. This is vibration. You will not attract what you do not believe belongs in your reflection. Speak to the mirror like it is the mouth of God. Because when you do, your body begins to believe. Your subconscious reprograms. Your vibration realigns. Your gate opens. The mirror is not a passive surface. It is a spiritual witness. And it is waiting for you to say, "I no longer speak from fear, I speak from truth." My supply is not somewhere out there. My supply is ME, spoken, aligned, and activated. Say it again, this time, like you mean it, like your reflection is listening. Because it is. You do not wait for wealth. You declare it. You do not ask for increase. You agree with it. The tongue is the gate, and the declaration is the key. If you want to see what has never appeared before, you must speak what you've never dared to say. Let these words pass not only through your lips, but through your cells, your organs, your finances, your future. Speak each line slowly, with rhythm, with reverence, with full authority. I walk in unlimited supply, for I speak from unlimited source. Divine substance is the only economy I serve, and it knows no restriction. I cast the burden of financial struggle on the Christ within, and I go free to receive all that is mine. I speak wealth, and wealth responds. Every time I open my mouth, heaven opens a channel. Money is not my master. It is my messenger. I call it in by decree. My voice is a spiritual magnet for provision, profit, and prosperity. My words are no longer casual. They are causal. I have trained my mouth to multiply, not measure. The more I bless my supply, the more it reveals itself to me. Now pause. Breathe. Let the vibration settle. These are not affirmations for the sake of repetition. These are spoken contracts with the invisible realm. Every line you speak carves a new pathway in the subconscious. Every decree you make reorganizes the atmosphere around you. Speak them in the morning. Speak them while walking. Speak them while handling money. Speak them in the mirror. Speak them when fear rises. Speak them even when your eyes see lack, especially then. The tongue of a trained spiritual being does not reflect conditions. It commands them. You are not describing your life anymore. You are designing it. So speak boldly, speak rhythmically, speak daily. For it is written, "Thou shalt also decree a thing, and it shall be established unto thee." Job 22:28. Your word is your wand, and every sentence is shaping the form of your fortune. There is a sacred law that governs all mental transformation, the law of substitution. You cannot hold two opposing thoughts in the same space at the same time. One must give way. The stronger vibration takes dominion. So when a thought of lack appears, when your mind says, "I can't, I won't," there isn't enough, you do not argue with it. You do not analyze it. You replace it. You substitute the false with the true. This is not denial. This is dominion. You do not pretend lack isn't knocking. You just don't invite it in. Instead, you open the door to truth, and truth always displaces the lie. Let me give you examples. When the thought arises, "There's not enough money for rent," you speak, "My supply is infinite, and my rent is already paid by divine channels now in motion." When the fear whispers, "What if this client doesn't pay?" you substitute, "God is the source of my income, not man. All owed to me is paid in full through divine law." When the anxiety trembles, "I'll never get ahead," you speak the truth. "I walk in divine timing, and nothing is withheld from me. My progress is guaranteed by spiritual law." You see, you must be quicker than fear. You must be more rehearsed in truth than in panic. When a lack thought appears, do not sit with it. Substitute immediately. Why? Because every thought left unchecked becomes a word, and every word becomes a world. You must train your mind not just to react, but to replace. That is the law. That is the victory. So declare this now. I do not dwell in thoughts of lack. I substitute fear with faith. I substitute panic with power. My mind obeys my word, and my word obeys the law. Only truth is spoken. Only truth is housed. Only truth remains. You are not at the mercy of thoughts. You are the ruler of the inner court. And what you allow to remain is what you have chosen to reign. You do not drift into spiritual mastery. You decree your way into it. And if your mouth has for years been trained by fear, lack, frustration, sarcasm, or worldly defeat, then it must now be retrained by spirit. For the next 7 days, I give you this command. Speak as one who walks with God, or do not speak at all. Every day you will select 3 declarations. You will say them in the mirror. You will say them before you touch money. You will say them when fear tries to enter. You will say them before sleep. And you will speak them until your cells believe. Here is your 7-day spoken supply challenge. Day 1. My words are gates of wealth. I no longer prophesy poverty. Everything I speak multiplies. Day 2. I now receive unexpected supply from unseen channels. There is no limit in divine mind, and I think in divine rhythm. My tongue is trained in truth. Day 3. Lack no longer recognizes me. I dissolve the lie of not enough. God finances my ideas, my needs, and my joy. Day 4. My voice magnetizes miracles. I speak, and provision obeys. All that I desire now comes clothed in divine timing. Day 5. I cast the burden of worry on the Christ within. My supply is secure, immediate, and constant. I speak increase, and increase arrives. Day 6. Every time I open my mouth, heaven moves. I no longer curse my life with casual words. My daily speech is a wealth frequency. Day 7. My language is divine. My declarations build my world. I am the voice of abundance made flesh. Say them when you rise. Say them before each transaction. Say them when the world tries to speak doubt into your ear. Your mouth is no longer rented by fear. It is owned by truth. 7 days. That is your command. Not perfection, practice, not performance, power. At the end of 7 days, your outer world may still look the same, but your spiritual authority will have shifted, and what you've planted by word must return to you by law. Say this now. I accept the 7-day word challenge. My mouth is under divine authority. I will speak as the rich speak, and I will walk as the rich walk. It is done. It is sealed. It is law. Jesus Christ never begged. He never bartered. He never lacked. And he never waited to speak until conditions were perfect. He spoke to command perfection into place. The Christ did not describe appearances. He declared dominion. At the wedding in Cana, when the wine ran out, he didn't say, "There's not enough." He didn't ask how much was left. He didn't analyze the economics. He simply gave a spiritual instruction. Fill the jars with water. And then he spoke, "Draw some out now." And it became wine. He spoke, and it became. In the wilderness with the multitudes, when the disciples cried, "We have only 5 loaves and 2 fish," Jesus did not repeat that lack. He did not speak agreement with what the eyes saw. He looked up, he blessed, he broke, and he distributed. And what happened? Multiplication. And in that multiplication, no one went without. There were even baskets left over. That is divine law in motion, through spoken faith. Even when facing the tomb of Lazarus, when the stench of death and the sorrow of mourners filled the air, Jesus did not say, "It is too late." He lifted his voice. He said, "Father, I thank thee that thou hast heard me." And then he called into the darkness, "Lazarus, come forth." And the dead obeyed. You see, Christ always spoke from supply, never from shortage. And he said, "Greater works shall ye do." But you cannot do his works while speaking man's words. You cannot perform miracles while repeating murmurs. You cannot multiply while speaking mediocrity. The Jesus model is not passive, it is proclamatory. It moves the unseen with sound. It commands order out of chaos. It calls what is not as though it is until it is. Say this now with holy fire. I speak from Christ mind, not carnal mind. I speak as he spoke, with certainty, not with strain. My words do not return void. They return multiplied. As Christ multiplied loaves, so I multiply provision with my voice. You are not trying to imitate a religious figure. You are awakening the Christ within, and that Christ always speaks from abundance. He was a man like many others, disciplined, responsible, worn thin by labor, and swallowed by the belief that toil was the price for survival. He earned just enough to stay afloat, but never enough to rise. And when I met him, he said, "Miss Shinn, I can't afford to leave this job, but I feel dead staying in it." His mouth was filled with respectable defeat. He spoke facts, but never truth. He described his income, his expenses, his boss, the market. But nowhere in his speech was there faith. Nowhere in his language did the law of supply have a place to land. I gave him a single instruction. For the next 21 days, say nothing about money unless it aligns with divine supply. He was to stop confessing lack. He was to stop repeating the narrative of exhaustion. He was to train his mouth to speak wealth, even when his paycheck whispered otherwise. He chose this declaration: God is my instant and constant supply. I speak wealth and walk in provision. At first, it felt like lying. His lips stuttered. His mind resisted. But he kept going. He spoke it brushing his teeth. He spoke it before opening his banking app. He spoke it when coworkers complained. He spoke it when he received bills. He spoke it when nothing seemed to change. But the change had already begun. His vibration shifted, his expectation lifted, and soon clients outside his job began asking for help. Side projects turned into contracts. The same mouth that once echoed fear now magnetized favor. One morning, he stood in his room, looked in the mirror, and said, "I do not work for a paycheck. I work for divine purpose, and I am paid in overflow." That week, he resigned, with no panic, no regret. He walked into his new work as an independent consultant, fully supported by spiritual law. And when asked how he had the courage to leave, he simply said, "My mouth made the decision before my body did." Beloved, you don't walk out of bondage. You speak out. You don't beg for better conditions. You create them with your word. Your job is not your source. Your habits are not your sentence. Your mouth has already chosen your future. All that's left is for you to say it and follow. Say it now. God is my instant and constant supply. I no longer serve the clock, I serve the kingdom. My words prepare the way for my wealth. What I speak today, I shall walk in tomorrow. There comes a time in every spiritual walk where declaration becomes not just a tool, but a temple, when your daily words evolve into prophecy. And prophecy, dear soul, is not prediction. It is the spoken shaping of spiritual fact into visible form. This is the advanced path. This is the financial prophecy ritual, and I give it to you now, not as a curiosity, but as a command to those who are ready to stop circling lack and start installing heaven's economy into earth's hour. Each morning for the next 7 days, before speaking to another human voice, you will prophesy aloud your financial truth. Not your goals, not your budget, not your business forecast, your divine inheritance. Stand alone. Face the mirror or your open palms. Speak with rhythm and authority. Speak with honor and fire. I now prophesy divine supply into my day. Money moves toward me freely and multiplies in my hands. I do not serve time, I command it. I am paid in full by unseen sources working now on my behalf. Every conversation today carries currency. Every action today plants profit. Every hour today overflows with favor. I walk through this day spiritually funded. When done consistently, this ritual bypasses logic and installs identity. You are not hoping to be rich. You are prophesying the wealth of spirit into the substance of matter. And the word will not return void. Do not whisper. Do not wonder. Do not wait for permission. You are a prophet of your provision. You are the mouth of your multiplication. You are the one who decrees, and it is done. Now say this with me, as the old identity dissolves. My voice is sacred. My prophecy is power. My day bends to the word I speak. My supply is permanent, plentiful, and present now. Even a trained mouth will tremble in the storm. Even a seasoned spirit will, at times, speak from fear instead of faith. So what do you do when it happens? When a phrase of lack slips past your lips? When you catch yourself saying, "I can't afford that," or "that's too much," or "I'm always broke"? You do not shame yourself, you cleanse. Spiritual mastery does not mean you never falter. It means you recognize, reverse, and realign, faster than ever before. That is your detox. The moment you catch yourself saying words of scarcity, you pause, bless the moment, and speak this. I cancel that word. It carries no power here. I call back my authority. I speak again, this time from truth. My supply is unlimited. My wealth is divine. My provision is now. You don't dwell in regret. You don't spiral into guilt. You simply reclaim your dominion. Every time you correct your tongue, you purify the temple of speech. You fortify your alignment with divine mind. Do not fear the slips. They are signs of the old system breaking down. Each correction is a clearing. Each reset is a resurrection. Let your spiritual self speak louder than your emotional reflex. Remember, your words are not just reflections. They are directives. And even one strong declaration of truth can dissolve 10 years of habitual fear. So say this with me now. I forgive the slip. I reinforce the truth. I bless my voice. I do not punish it. My wealth is not denied because of a moment. It is secured by eternal law. I return to truth instantly, joyfully, and boldly. You are not fragile. You are being reforged. You are not broken. You are being rewired. Slip if you must, but never stop speaking. Because the wealth you seek is not offended by your learning curve. It is magnetized by your return. There is a spiritual portal that opens not in the bank, not in the stock market, not in the job offer, but in the hour when the world sleeps and the soul stands alone. Midnight is not just a time on the clock. It is a metaphysical window, a sacred threshold where the noise of the world dies down and the voice of God is clearest. And it is in this stillness, beloved, that you are called to activate supply, not by calculation, not by effort, but by the spoken word. This is the midnight supply activation. Stand up at 12 a.m., not out of anxiety, but out of agreement. Walk to your mirror or sit upright in your bed. Do not turn on every light. Keep the atmosphere still and sacred. You are not here to perform. You are here to proclaim. Say aloud, slowly, with full authority, "Though it is midnight, I dwell in light. Though the world slumbers, my good awakens." I declare now, divine supply is active in every direction. Unseen channels move, unexpected income flows, delayed provision is released. Money is not my master, God is my source. I go to sleep in the rhythm of wealth, and I rise in the power of provision. Then pause, breathe, feel. Let the words echo in your body. Let the vibration move through your spine. Let heaven respond. Midnight is the womb of the new day, and what is spoken in the womb is born by morning. This is not superstition. This is spiritual law. When you speak at midnight, you are declaring from the place of nothingness, the perfect place for the law of increase to work. Just as God said, "Let there be light" over the void, you now say, "Let there be supply. Let there be overflow. Let there be ease." And it is so. So try it tonight, just once, then again the next. Do not wait for the morning to set the tone of your wealth. Command it in the night. Money that is feared, hoarded, or cursed shrinks. But money that is blessed, released, and spoken over with faith circulates and returns multiplied. Every dollar in your hand is not just a medium of exchange. It is a messenger. It carries the vibration of what you say when you give it, when you send it, when you spend it. Do not say, "This is so expensive." Do not say, "There it goes again." Do not say, "I hope I have enough left." Instead, speak as a steward of divine circulation. Speak as one who governs a never-ending flow from source to form. When you pay a bill, say, "I give thanks for this service, and I bless the money as it moves. This money returns to me multiplied, pressed down, shaken together, running over." I do not lose, I release. I do not fear, I flow. When you buy a meal, say, "This food nourishes me, and this payment blesses every hand that brought it to me. I am wealthy enough to feed my body, and rich enough to bless others in the process. This money is not gone, it is sent." Even when you invest, tithe, or gift, say, "I do not give to get. I give because I live in overflow. I plant in fertile soil, and I reap in divine timing." Money in motion is money in multiplication. Your words over money are more powerful than your spreadsheet, more potent than your wallet. For what is spoken with spiritual authority bends the very laws of return. So bless the outflow, consecrate the circulation, and trust the law to bring it back. Say this now: "Every dollar I spend is a divine seed. I never fear its departure, I rejoice in its return. I give with love, I receive with ease, I speak with wealth. The law of circulation is holy, and I am its joyful master. Your wealth does not disappear, it moves on command. Speak it, bless it, and it will come back, singing your name. You have trained your hands to work. You have trained your body to rise early. to push forward, to endure. But if your mouth has not been trained in wealth, then the struggle continues, disguised in productivity, because the wealth does not start in your job. The overflow does not begin in the marketplace. It begins in your mouth. The mouth is the gate of reality. The mouth is the organ of creation. The mouth is the multiplier. Your tongue is either a tool of multiplication or a servant of mediocrity. Your sentences either sow scarcity or sing abundance. And every time you open your mouth, you are either aligning with heaven or echoing fear. Now hear me, beloved. You do not need another strategy. You need a sentence. You do not need more time. You need to train your mouth to speak time's master, divine supply. The one who multiplies is not the one who hustles harder. It is the one who speaks the spiritual language of wealth. It is the one who opens the mouth with no tremble and says, "My supply is unlimited. My wealth is divine. My source is spiritual. My voice is law." Your job from this day forward is not to ask for money. It is not to chase more hours. It is to govern your words. Because the one who governs their mouth governs their money, and the one who governs their money governs their world. Say this now with me. I am the mouth of multiplication. I speak only from overflow. I deny all phrases of fear. I bless my mouth, I bless my flow, I bless my increase. And I now live in wealth because I have spoken it into being. Let your words be law. Let your mouth become the throne of your dominion, and let your life multiply accordingly. Let us now seal this work in rhythm and fire. Speak with me, boldly, clearly, and without pause. Each line is a law. Each word is a spiritual decree. Say them aloud and let every syllable reorder your atmosphere. I speak and supply responds. My mouth is aligned with divine multiplication. I do not echo fear. I enforce wealth. Every word I speak is a seed of abundance. I no longer beg, I declare. My language shapes my fortune. God and I speak increase with one voice. Say them again if you must. Write them, sing them, walk with them. For these are not just affirmations, they are activation codes in the language of the Spirit. Every time you say them, you silence the voice of lack. Every time you speak them, you reopen the gates of divine circulation. And every time you declare them, you remind the universe that you are not waiting. You are governing. This is your spoken dominion. This is your wealth in word form. And it is done. Beloved soul, if these words found your mouth, it is because your spirit is ready to remember its power. You were never meant to echo lack. You were never meant to rehearse defeat. You were meant to speak the words that create worlds. And now you shall. If you receive this truth, if even one line rang like a bell in your chest, speak it back to me. Leave your comment below as your covenant. Let the heavens and the algorithm both hear it. Write this. I train my mouth to speak only unlimited supply. Declare it as a record, as a ritual, as a reminder to the self who sometimes forgets. And if your spirit knows this work must continue, then subscribe not just to this channel, but to the practice. Come back tomorrow, and the day after that. Return not to the screen, but to your own mirror, your own mouth, your own ministry of speech. Let this be your sacred rhythm. Wake, speak, multiply. Speak as one who has already received. Walk as one who has already been paid. And live as one whose wealth is not delayed, but declared. The law is active. The word is working. Your mouth has been made new. I'll meet you in the next declaration.
There is a divine law of supply, and it is always working. Invisible currents move in your favor the moment you align your word, thoughts, and your faith with the truth that abundance is yours by divine right. Money is not something to chase, it is something you magnetize, and you do that through the power of your word. The spoken word is your wand, your belief is the flame, and your expectation is the key that opens every closed door. Today we awaken the ancient truth that prosperity responds instantly to the language of faith. These are not spells in the worldly sense. These are declarations of spiritual certainty. Each money spell is a key to the invisible vault of riches waiting for you to claim them. They do not require force, only alignment. They do not depend on hustle, only harmony. When spoken in love, when believed without fear, and when released into the others with complete trust, they manifest with divine speed. You are not here to suffer lack. You are not here to beg the universe. You are here to command your good. To stand tall in the temple of your own faith and declare, "There is no lack in divine mind, therefore there can be no lack in me." As you speak, so it is done. The universe rearranged, the delays dissolve, the channels open, and what once seemed impossible becomes your everyday reality. With each money spell you speak today, you are not just hoping. You are knowing. You are not waiting. You are receiving, and what you receive will come in ways that surprise you, delight you, and remind you that divine substance is never limited. It flows where faith grows. It rushes to the soul that expects it. It blossoms in the heart that believes it is already done. Now breathe, center your spirit, and prepare to speak not from fear, but from favor. For the words you are about to say are alive. They carry energy, they shift timelines, and they are about to call in money like a magnet. Money that flows instantly, effortlessly, and abundantly, because the law is on your side. Unexpected income now flows to me from all directions under grace and in perfect ways. Say it not with doubt, but with the certainty that the invisible supply is already moving. You are not calling something far away. You are acknowledging what is already near, waiting to be claimed. This is the law of increase, and the moment you declare it, you become a magnet to miracles. Unexpected income does not come from your logic. It comes from your alignment. It may appear as a refund, a gift, a raise, a new client, or even a stranger's generosity. But remember, do not ask how. That is not your role. Your role is to expect. Every time you affirm this spell, you open invisible windows. You activate spiritual pathways through which supply rushes in. It is not your job to know the source. It is your job to speak the word. Speak it when fear rises. Speak it when bills whisper lack. Speak it even when you cannot see a way. For when you say, "Unexpected income now flows to me," you are not pleading, you are proclaiming, you are not begging, you are believing. And belief is the bridge to manifestation. Do not delay your good with disbelief. Do not cancel your miracle with doubt. Instead, plant this word like a seed and trust that it cannot return void. The moment you said it, angels were assigned. Energy shifted. People you've never met began thinking about blessing you. Situations started turning in your favor. For nothing is more powerful than a word spoken with faith, wrapped in expectation, and sent forth with love. Say it once and let it be done. Say it again and let it deepen your trust. Say it every morning, every night, every time your heart desires to feel secure again. Because the more you say it, the more your inner vibration rises. And when your vibration rises, wealth recognizes you. It finds you. It flows to you. Not because you chased it, but because you became a clear and worthy channel for it. Let this be your knowing. Unexpected income now flows to me from all directions under grace and in perfect ways. Not someday. Not when you're ready. But now, because divine timing is always now. And you, beloved, are divinely supported. And as unexpected income begins to show itself in your life, from directions you could never plan, you start to realize that wealth is not earned by struggle. It is received through spiritual openness. You are not here to chase, you are here to attract. And so the second spell rises gently from the first. As naturally as the sun follows the dawn, everything I touch prospers and multiplies. Let your voice carry this affirmation with calm authority, not as a wish, but as a decree. When you say these words, you infuse your actions with divine energy. Your hands become instruments of increase. Your ideas begin to grow roots. What once felt delayed begins to accelerate. Everything you touch, your projects, your business, your conversations, your decisions, they begin to respond, not just in wordly terms, but in vibrational power. Because your touch is no longer ordinary, it is anointed with divine favor. Speak this with the trust of someone who knows they are not doing life alone. You are backed by the infinite. You are guided by the unseen. And that divine support turns your smallest step into great progress. Say it when you're working. Say it when you're waiting. Say it when you're watering the seeds of your dream. For when you affirm that everything you touch prospers and multiplies, you give permission for divine multiplication to unfold in your finances. This is the law of expansion. Whatever you bless increases. Whatever you fear contracts. So bless your work, your money, your vision, and even the slow seasons. Bless them with your words. Bless them with your belief. And watch them multiply. Not because you forced it, but because you aligned with the truthing that prosperity is not something you pursue. It's something you awaken. And as everything you touch begins to prosper and multiply, a calm confidence takes root in your soul. You no longer question whether money will come. You begin to expect it with quiet certainty. The energy of doubt fades, and in its place rises a deeper knowing. I am a magnet for divine money miracles. Say this as if the truth of it already lives in your bones. Let it echo through your spirit like a sacred bell, awakening every cell to its divine inheritance. You are not just hoping for money. You are attracting miracles wrapped in gold. You are not asking the universe to remember you. You are remembering who you are, a powerful co-creator, a divine being wired for wealth. When you call yourself a magnet, you change your relationship with money. You stop trying to force it. You stop fearing its absence. You start recognizing that wealth is not only attracted to action, it is attracted to energy. The frequency you emit is your real currency, and the more you align with the vibration of abundance, the faster divine money miracles find their way to your door. Speak it when you rise in the morning, before the noise of the world can reach you. Speak it in the quiet moments when doubt tries to whisper its old stories. Speak it with every breath that longs to be free from lack. For you are not calling something impossible. You are calling forth the natural law that has always been your songs. I am a magnet for divine money miracles. And these miracles don't arrive through logic. They arrive through favor, through alignment, through divine surprise. A missed opportunity suddenly returns. A delay transforms into a blessing. Someone remembers you with a gift and offer, a chance that multiplies your path. You are no longer bound by what is seen. You are guided by what is felt. And your feeling now is faith, pure, expectant, radiant faith. You are not alone in this declaration. The heavens hear it, the earth responds to it, and money sweet and sacred flows toward it, effortlessly, gracefully, now, and as divine money miracles begin to appear. Sometimes in small ways, sometimes like a tidal wave of blessing, you start to live in a new rhythm, a rhythm of receiving, a rhythm of allowing. And from this sacred rhythm's the next truth, soft but powerful. Large sums of money come to me quickly, easily, and continuously. Let your voice carry this with the authority of someone who knows that lack is no longer your portion. These words are not fantasy. They are frequency. When you speak them, you are aligning your inner world with a higher law, the law of flow, the law of grace, the law of abundant and effortless circulation. Say it with reverence and confidence. Large sums, not just enough, not barely making it, but overflow, surplus. Blessings with your name on them traveling at the speed of faith. Do not let your current bank balance tell you what is possible. Let the vibration of this truth speak louder, because money does not move first. Belief does. When your belief expands, the current of wealth quickens. The gates open wider. You are not waiting for money. You are allowing it. You are not chasing it. You are welcoming it home. And the more you say this, the more normal it feels to receive without struggle, to receive without guilt, to receive without explaining your worth. This is your divine right, to be supported, to be resourced, to be free. And money is a divine servant in your life, not a master. It comes to you easily because you are in agreement with ease. It comes quickly because you are no longer laying with disbelief. And it comes continuously because you have opened the spiritual channel where money never stops flowing. Let it be said again, with all your hearting, large sums of money come to me quickly, easily, and continuously. Speak it like the law it is. Feel it like the promise it holds. And let every repetition shift your state from worry to wealth, from fear to freedom, from doubt to divine demonstration. And as the flow becomes steady, as large sums begin arriving in ways you never imagined, through people, through chances, through shifts that seem orchestrated just for you, you begin to trust deeper. You begin to walk lighter. You no longer wonder if money will come. You now ask, how much more can I receive? And it is in this sacred receiving that the next divine spell reveals itself. Money comes to me when I need it, and money comes to me even before I ask. There is no fear in this truth, no panic, no pleading, only peace, only knowing. This is the law of divine anticipation, the law of provision before the need even appears. Say it and feel the weight lift off your shoulders. You are not responsible for the how. You are responsible for the allowing, and this spell is a declaration that the universe is already ahead of you. That provision is prepared, that supply is on the way before you even recognize the demand. Speak it when deadlines approach and the mind wants to race. Speak it when you're unsure how things will unfold. Speak it as a quiet reminder that you are not forgotten, not abandoned, not left behind. You are divinely guided and your needs are divinely met. Always on time and sometimes even early. And what greater peace is there than knowing that what you need is already in motion before you even name it? You are not speaking this spell from scarcity. You are speaking it from sacred trust. The trust that comes when you remember who your true source is. Not a job, not a system, but the invisible, inexhaustible source of all good. that which sees the road ahead, that which answers prayers before they are spoken, that which knows what you need before you even do, and delivers it with perfect timing. Say it gently, say it boldly, say it with every breath of faithing. Money comes to me when I need it, and money comes to me even before I ask. Because that's how grace works, quietly, powerfully, and always right on time. And as you feel the comfort of money arriving even before the need arises, your spirit begins to relax into a deeper state of knowing. A knowing that you are supported by divine intelligence, not random chance. That every dollar is guided, every blessing is assigned, and every financial breakthrough has been written in your favor. It is from this sacred peace that the next spell unfolds like a whisper from the soul. I always have more than enough for everything I need and desire. This is not just a statement about money. It is a statement about your identity. You are not a person trying to have enough. You are a soul who lives from the overflow. When you affirm this truth, you erase the old programming of just getting by. You break the cycle of lack. You step out of survival mode and into divine sufficiency. Say it, and feel the shift. You are no longer worried about the last bill or the next one. You are no longer hoping something works out. You are living from a well that never runs dry. Speak it slowly. Let it sink into your spiriting. I always have more than enough. Not just for the basics, not just for the needs, but for the desires too. For the beautiful life you were meant to live, for the small joys and the big dreams, for giving, for saving, for investing, for celebrating. Because abundance is not selfish, it is spiritual. And your desires are not random. They are divine instructions for the life you are meant to experience. As you speak this, your vibration changes. You begin to see opportunities where there were none. You begin to attract resources, support, and solutions that match this new identity. You begin to embody someone who is never afraid of running out, because you live in constant agreement with the law of more than enough. You stop hoarding. You stop doubting. You stop asking, will it be enough? And start declaring, it already is. You bless your money, your time, your gifts, and they bless you back in multiplied form. You open the windows of your life and let the breeze of divine provision flow in. And so this spell becomes your truth, your rhythm, your reality. I always have more than enough for everything I need and desire. Say it until your subconscious believes it. Say it until your finances reflect it. Say it until lack has no space left in your energy field. And as you dwell in the energy of more than enough, you start to notice how life responds to this inner abundance. Doors open with less resistance. Ideas come with more clarity. And there's a sacred ease to your days. From this energy of overflow, the next divine affirmation begins to rise. Steady, simple, and sure, every dollar I spend returns to me multiplied under grace. No longer do you release money with fear. You release it with faith. Because now your understanding money is not gone when it leaves your hands. It is simply circulating back to you in new and multiplied ways. This is the law of divine return. The more freely you give, the more freely you receive. Not from force, not from debt, not from anxiety, but from trust in the sacred cycle of circulation. When you pay a bill, whisper this spell. When you buy something that brings you joy, say it with a smile. When you give to someone in need, speak it as a blessing. Every dollar I spend returns to me multiplied. You are not just spending. You are sowing. You are not just releasing. You are activating increase. Money is energy, and when it flows from a place of peace, it cannot help but return with a greater blessing. Speak this even in the moments when your balance is low. Speak it not from what you see, but from what you believe, because the power is not in the number. It's in the name you speak over it, and the name you now give your money is blessed, multiplied, and never wasted. You no longer say, there it goes. You now say, here it comes back, bigger, better, richer in every way. Let this become your normal, your sacred rhythm. Money flows out and money flows in, and every time it leaves your hand, it carries your faith with it. It returns with a Harvey accident, not by luck, but divine law, perfect, graceful, and exact. So say it again until it becomes your automatic truth. Every dollar I spend returns to me multiplied, under grace. And let the energy of this truth bring peace to your giving, joy to your spending, and confidence to your receiving. And as you walk in the flow of giving and receiving, as every dollar you release returns to you multiplied, something powerful awakens in your soul, a quiet certainty, a royal stillness. You begin to feel what it's like to be in partnership with the infinite. You begin to feel wealthy, not just in your hands, but in your being. And from this place of deep alignment, the next truth is spoken. Wealth is my natural state, and I now return to it. This is not something new you're creating. It's something ancient you are remembering. You were never meant to struggle with money. You were never meant to beg or borrow or barely make it. That was learned. Wealth is original, it is your birthright, it is your truth. When you affirm this, you are not asking to become something. You are choosing to remember who you already are. Say it slowly. Let it vibrate in your cells. Let it correct every let you were taught about lack. Wealth is my natural state. That means abundance feels normal to you. That means having enough is no longer a surprise. That means overflow is not the exception. It is the expectation. You are not separate from wealth. You are one with it, as natural as breath, as constant as your heartbeat, as sure as the sunrise. Every time you speak these words, you undo old stories. You break old spells. You silence old fears. And in their place, you anchor yourself into divine truth that the universe is generous. And so are you. You no longer apologize for having. You no longer feel guilty for receiving. You no longer feel unworthy of more, because you have returned home. And home is wealth. Home is sufficiency. Home is security wrapped in peace. Let this truth carry you forward all. Wealth is my natural state, and I now return to it. No effort, no striving, just remembering, just reclaiming, just returning to the river of prosperity that has always been flowing underneath everything, waiting for you to say yes. And as you return to your natural state of wealth, something deep within you settles. An ancient confidence, a quiet power. You no longer measure yourself by what's in your wallet, but by what's in your spirit. You know now that money is not something outside of you. It is something that responds to the truth you carry. And from that truth rises the next sacred affirmation. I am open and ready to receive unlimited wealth now. There is no hesitation in this declaration, no shrinking, no apology, just openness, just readiness, just alignment with all that is good and abundant and meant for you. When you speak these words, you are clearing the path. You are removing resistance. You are unlocking doors that your logic cannot see, but your spirit already knows are there. Say it with a soft heart and a strong voice. I am open and ready. That means no more delays, no more doubts disguised as humility, no more postponing the good that's been circling your life, waiting for your permission to land. You are no longer closed. You are no longer blocked. You are no longer afraid to hold what's yours. And then say it again, to receive unlimited wealth now. Not later, not someday, now. Because wealth doesn't wait for conditions. It waits for alignment. When your inner posture is one of openness, the universe takes it as a green light. It sends the ideas, the helpers, the opportunities, the money, in all forms, from all directions, without limits. You are not asking for a little. You are opening yourself to the overflow. You are expanding the container of your life to hold more. More than you've ever had. More than you've ever dared to believe. And you do it without fear. Because you know you'll use your wealth well. You'll bless others. You'll grow. You'll give. You'll live fully without apology and without shame. And so this becomes your living spell. I am open and ready to receive unlimited wealth now. Let it clear the air around you. Let it cleanse the space within you. Let it pull prosperity toward you like a magnet. And now, with your heart wide open, your energy aligned, and your spirit fully awakened to the divine truth of your abundance, you step into the final spell. Not as a beginner, but as someone who remembers, someone who has tasted the truth, someone who knows that what they say they create. And so, with gentle strength and deep certainty, the last affirmation arises. I live in a constant flow of financial miracles. Let that wash over you like a warm wave, a constant flow. Not one-time blessings, not random luck, but a divine rhythm, steady, unshakable, always moving in your favor. When you say this, you are stepping beyond the limits of logic and entering into the terror of the miraculous. Money comes, not because you strain, but because you trust. It flows, not in panic but in peace. It moves, not from control, but from connection to the source that never dries. Speak this with joy like a song that has always lived in your soul. I live in a constant flow. Not a trickle, not a drop, but a river of provision, endlessly refilled, divinely directed. You are not waiting for a miracle. You are living in them. They surround you. They multiply around you. They build your tomorrow and bless your today. Every moment, every hour, you are in the current of the miraculous. That means unexpected money, surprising opportunities, sudden breakthroughs, divine rescues, sweet abundance arriving exactly when you need it, sometimes even before you know what to ask for. You are walking proof that financial miracles are not myths. They are movements of spirit through the open heart of a willing soul. Say this and feel the fear dissolve. Say this and feel the hope expand. Say this and remember you are not cursed, forgotten, or behind. You are chosen. You are favored. You are connected to the highest power in the universe. And that power desires your good. It wants you to be supported, steady and overflowing in every way. So say it again as a promise, as a prayer, as a personal prophesying. I live in a constant flow of financial miracles. Let this be the energy that holds you, heals you, and helps you rise into everything you were born to be. Then let this final message be the seal, the golden thread that weaves through all 10 divine spells you've spoken. You are not here to scrape by. You are not here to struggle. You are not here to live a life of lack, wondering if the universe has forgotten your name. You are here to remember that money is not just paper. It is energy. It is circulation. It is divine substance responding to your consciousness. And now your consciousness has shifted. Your words have risen. Your vibration has been lifted into the frequency of miracles. You are no longer the one who hopes. You are now the one who knows. You no longer ask if the blessings will come. You walk with a quiet confidence that they already are. You no longer speak from fear. You speak from divine favor. And that favor, that sacred alignment, is now echoing in the universe, drawing in opportunities, helpers, provision, and peace. The spells you have spoken today are not temporary. They are timeless. They are eternal truths that can never be taken from you. Let them live in your voice. Let them breathe in your heart. Let them anchor your days and uplift your nights. Return to them whenever doubt tries to whisper. Speak them boldly when life feels uncertain. And know this with all your being: you are always provided for, always supported, always in the care of a loving, abundant universe. Now walk forward not as someone in need, but as someone already fulfilled. Let every step be taken in the rhythm of wealth. Let every breath affirm your readiness. Let every day begin with the knowing: I am one with divine supply, and my prosperity is forever unfolding. You have cast no spells today, you have remembered your power. And now that power is working, instantly, endlessly, and always under grace.
There is a divine law that governs every word spoken. Words are not mere sounds floating into the air. They are seeds planted in the fertile soil of the universe. What is spoken with conviction and imagination takes root, and draws to itself its own kind. If you say, I lack, then lack will hasten to your door. If you say, I am richly supplied, then supply moves toward you in visible form. It is not chance, nor luck, nor favor. It is law. Money is not a stranger to you. It is an obedient servant awaiting your call. Many pursue it as though it were running from them, when in truth it is waiting to be commanded. The words you speak are the golden keys that unlock its presence in your life. The individual who declares daily, everything I need comes to me in perfect ways, is magnetizing prosperity by aligning with universal order. The world teaches one to strain and struggle, to labor for every coin, to chase money as though it were a wild bird that must be trapped. Yet the spiritual law is entirely different. You do not run after the bird. You open your hand with calm assurance, and it alights upon you. So it is with money. The one who says with full faith, I am one with the infinite riches, and wealth flows to me freely, will find that unseen channels open and visible forms of supply arrive. Your words are not idle, they are decrees. When spoken with feeling, they set in motion unseen forces that build bridges of opportunity, dissolve obstacles, and prepare the way for abundance to reach you. To say, I never have enough, is to sign a contract with limitation. To say, I am guided to prosperity, and prosperity is guided to me, is to sign a contract with abundance. The choice is always with the tongue. Consider money not as a hard master but as a loyal helper. See it not as elusive but as ever present, drawn to you as surely as a river flows toward the sea. Speak as one who already holds wealth in hand, for in truth, supply exists in the unseen before it appears in the seen. To affirm lack is to cover your treasure chest with a veil. To affirm supply is to lift the veil and let the light of riches shine forth. So when you say it like this, calmly, faithfully, without resistance, money does not resist you. It recognizes its rightful place in your life and follows you as a shadow follows form. It does not require pursuit, only recognition. Speak the word of plenty, and plenty will hasten to fulfill it. Speak the word of freedom, and freedom will make itself known in your affairs. This is the unseen law, and it never fails. Words are the most powerful tools given to humanity. They are more than symbols or sounds. They are containers of energy, vessels of thought, carriers of faith, and channels through which the unseen becomes seen. Every word uttered is like a seed placed in the fertile soil of the universe, and the soil never fails to bring forth the harvest of what is planted. When one understands this, life ceases to appear as random or uncertain. Instead, one begins to perceive the great order that governs existence. If one sows seeds of lack through careless speech, lack will faithfully appear. If one sows seeds of supply, opportunity, and abundance, then those same qualities will blossom in experience. The law cannot be mocked, for it is precise, exact, and unfailing. Each thought becomes a vibration, and when clothed in words, it is given substance and direction. Words are the architects of destiny, and they form the structures of prosperity or limitation, according to how they are spoken. Consider the person who constantly repeats phrases such as, "I never have enough," "Life is hard," or "Money slips through my fingers." These words, repeated with feeling, carve channels in the subconscious mind and call forth conditions to match. The universe does not discriminate between words of faith and words of fear. It simply reproduces what is declared. The one who habitually affirms shortage unknowingly signs an agreement with shortage, binding themselves to its results. On the other hand, when the tongue is used to affirm truth, the conditions of life alter to reflect that truth. The person who says with assurance, "I am richly supplied. All that is mine by divine right comes to me in perfect ways," begins to align with an invisible current of abundance that moves through all creation. Words of faith are not idle decorations, they are forces that direct unseen powers into motion. The soil of the universe eagerly brings forth whatever is planted, and it multiplies the harvest according to the strength and repetition of the declaration. To recognize this is to gain mastery over circumstances. For one no longer speaks thoughtlessly, but chooses every word as carefully as one would choose seeds for a precious garden. Words shape thought, and thought shapes conditions. Imagine a gardener scattering thorn seeds and later lamenting the presence of thorns in the field. This is what many do with their words. They scatter words of fear, doubt, and complaint, then wonder why difficulty grows in their affairs. Yet the law is exact, like produces like. The tongue is the sower, and life is the soil. The harvest cannot be other than the seed. When this truth is grasped, the wise individual begins to watch every word, knowing that careless speech is not harmless chatter, but the planting of undesirable seeds that must eventually bear fruit. It is often thought that only actions determine results, yet words themselves are actions of a higher order. They are spoken intentions that go forth like messengers to shape events. A word of blessing builds a path of light ahead, while a word of fear lays stones of obstruction. Many strive outwardly, laboring in endless effort, but still find themselves entangled in limitation, because their inner conversation contradicts their outer work. They attempt to build prosperity while continually affirming lack. They toil for supply while declaring poverty. The two forces cancel each other, leaving the individual weary and disheartened. But when words align with intention, the entire universe cooperates to bring about the desired result. The vibration of words cannot be underestimated. Every sound carries frequency, and when charged with conviction, it becomes a magnet drawing conditions of its kind. Uttering words of prosperity creates an atmosphere of expectancy that attracts opportunities, allies, and resources. Uttering words of lack creates a climate of resistance where even opportunities that appear soon fade away. One may think words are fleeting, but the subconscious mind records them all, and the subconscious, in turn, influences the outward world. It is therefore essential to choose words as one would choose companions, with discernment, with awareness, and with reverence for their power. The one who fills their speech with faith-filled affirmations becomes a center of magnetism. People sense confidence, doors open, and ways are prepared because the individual's words are aligned with truth. They have sown seeds of wealth, health, and opportunity, and the soil of the universe has no choice but to bring forth their harvest. Even when appearances seem contrary, faith-filled words continue to build unseen structures, and at the appointed time, those structures become visible. The harvest may appear suddenly, as if out of nowhere, yet in truth, it is the natural outcome of what was spoken long before. It is also important to remember that silence itself is not neutrality. Where one does not affirm good, negative suggestions often rush in to fill the void. That is why deliberate speech is vital. To wake each morning and declare, "This is a day of plenty. All that I need comes to me in perfect ways," sets the tone for the hours ahead. To speak such words at night, before sleep, plants seeds in the subconscious that grow while the body rests. Every phrase becomes a builder of destiny, and repeated affirmations engrave patterns in the mind that attract matching experiences. The careless person may laugh at such truth, thinking words to be insignificant, yet their life will mirror the harvest of their speech. The wise will honor the tongue as the sower of fate and will choose to plant words of life, prosperity, joy, and health. Words are seeds and seeds grow. The harvest is inevitable. To speak in lack is to bind oneself to lack. To speak in abundance is to invite abundance into every avenue of existence. The law is exact, unwavering, and impartial. Every declaration is a decree, every phrase a command to the invisible forces that shape destiny. Money is never the master, though many have been taught to fear it, to chase it, or to worship it. Money is but a servant, a symbol, a tool placed within human reach to serve higher purposes. When one looks upon it as a tyrant, it appears to dominate life, dictating choices, binding decisions, and ruling over thoughts. Yet when seen in its true light, it is recognized as obedient, always responding to the direction of word and thought. The master is the spirit within, and money is simply a reflection of the consciousness that governs it. The individual who sees money as scarce and difficult to obtain places themselves under its imagined control. They bow before it, worrying over its absence, fearing its loss, and longing for its increase. In doing so, they make money the master. Though in truth money has no power of its own, it only reflects the state of mind that calls it forth. A servant cannot act without command, and money cannot move without instruction. The word spoken with faith is the instruction, and the attitude behind it is the power. When spoken rightly, money comes easily, faithfully, and in abundance, for it recognizes its place as a helper to the one who understands. Money is designed to move toward usefulness. It responds to purpose, to vision, to service. When a person declares, "Money is my servant, and it flows to me for rightful use," they set themselves above it and give it its true role. The servant does not dictate to the master. It fulfills the command. The one who commands with fear receives a fearful servant, a servant that arrives only in small measure and slips away quickly. The one who commands with confidence receives a loyal servant that multiplies, that arrives through expected and unexpected channels, that works quietly in the background to provide what is needed at the perfect time. Consider how many live in bondage to the idea of money. They choose employment they dislike, not out of joy but out of fear. They remain in situations that stifle their spirit because they have placed money on a throne as if it were king. Yet no throne belongs to it. The true throne belongs to divine order, to the inner spirit, to the word of truth spoken with authority. Once this is seen, chains fall away, and the individual walks in freedom, recognizing that money is drawn to them, not as master but as servant. Every coin, every note, every form of supply is but a shadow of consciousness. To elevate the shadow above the substance is to live in confusion. The substance is the invisible realm of thought and word, and from that substance comes the visible symbol, called money. To chase the shadow is fruitless. It flees and eludes. To command the substance through affirmation is powerful. The shadow must then obey and appear. Words such as, "Money is hard to keep," or "Money controls my life," are instructions to the servant that bind it into troublesome service. But words such as, "Money is my obedient servant," it comes when called, it multiplies under divine direction. It serves my good and the good of others, set money in its rightful place, and bring about conditions of ease. Many misunderstand wealth, thinking it rests only in figures, coins, or possessions. Yet wealth begins in consciousness, and money simply follows. When a person knows themselves to be rich in ideas, rich in opportunities, rich in friendships, rich in health, then money naturally comes to assist. It is drawn to richness of spirit as iron is drawn to the magnet. The impoverished thought repels it, the fearful thought drives it away. The resentful thought blocks its flow. But the thought of generosity, gratitude, and expectancy summons it forth, and it hurries to serve. Money is quick to obey the one who is unafraid to command it. Fear paralyzes, but calm assurance directs. Just as a faithful servant watches for the slightest signal from the master, money watches for the slightest affirmation from the lips. The universe is alive with supply, endless and inexhaustible, and money is one of its countless channels. To see it as scarce is to shrink the channel. To see it as abundant is to widen the flow. The servant waits for instruction. If told, "I never have enough," it will fulfill the order and remain scarce. If told, "My supply is abundant and ever-present," it will fulfill the order and appear freely. The misuse of money comes from mistaking the servant for the master. When one clings to money in fear, hoarding it, worshipping it, or allowing it to dictate actions, then harmony is broken, for the natural order has been reversed. The servant is on the throne, and confusion results. But when one sees money rightly, as a tool to accomplish good, to create beauty, to expand service, to ease life's burdens, then money flows with grace, because it recognizes its rightful role. It does not resist, it hastens to fulfill its task. It is not the duty of the individual to chase money. The duty is to recognize truth, speak it, and expect it. The servant arrives when called. The more clearly it is commanded, the more faithfully it serves. Vague words produce vague results. Fearful words produce limited results. Strong, confident words produce overflowing results. The servant of money is eager, willing, and tireless, but it will never act without command. Every declaration is an order, every affirmation a signal. To recognize this is to stand in mastery. Thus, money is never a tyrant except to those who allow it to sit in a throne it does not own. In reality, it is a tool, a helper. A servant waiting to be sent forth on errands of good. It has no will of its own, no life of its own, no dominion of its own. It is clay shaped by thought, light formed into symbol, energy clothed in material form. It will always reflect the consciousness of the one who commands it. If commanded to bring hardship, it obeys. If commanded to bring blessing, it obeys. If commanded to multiply and serve in freedom, it obeys. The servant does not argue with the master. It simply fulfills the order given through the spoken word. To speak supply is to invite supply. The spoken word carries within it the very essence of creation, and the moment it is declared with conviction, unseen forces begin their work to clothe it in visible form. There is no idle speech, for every utterance is a seed, and every seed is destined to grow after its own kind. The person who continually speaks lack, who rehearses shortage with every conversation, who repeats phrases of insufficiency, is scattering seeds of poverty into the soil of the universe, and the harvest must match the planting. But the one who deliberately, joyfully, and faithfully declares supply is sowing seeds of abundance that cannot help but bear fruit in due season. When you say, "I am provided for," you are aligning your words with divine order, and the universe recognizes the command. When you affirm, "Everything I need comes to me in perfect ways," you set in motion a current of supply that flows toward you through channels, both expected and unexpected. It is not the force of struggle that brings wealth, it is the word spoken in faith. The mind may reason that work alone is the source, but the spirit knows that work is merely one of the channels through which supply arrives. The real source is invisible, and it responds not to toil or fear, but to the clear decree of faith-filled speech. Every affirmation of supply is a key turning in a lock. When spoken with belief, it opens doors that were hidden and calls forth opportunities that could not be seen before. Supply may come through a new idea, a helpful connection, a sudden inspiration, or a gift that arrives without expectation. Yet whatever its form, the root of its arrival is always in the spoken word. To say, "I am rich in opportunities," is to awaken opportunities. To say, my wealth flows constantly, is to activate the flow. The words become the blueprint, and the invisible law of creation builds according to the design given. One may look around and see evidence of lack, but to repeat that evidence in speech is to give it more power. To speak supply even when appearances seem barren is to plant new seeds that must eventually overcome the old. Appearances are but the reflection of yesterday's words, while today's affirmations are shaping the reality of tomorrow. To say, I am surrounded by abundance, when the purse is empty, is to call forth the harvest that must soon appear. The soil of the universe is fertile beyond measure, it only waits for the right seed to be dropped into it. The tongue is the sower, and every phrase is a planting. The truth is that supply is ever present, but it must be acknowledged to be experienced. Just as light fills a room when the curtain is drawn, abundance floods life when the word of supply is spoken. Silence about good leaves the curtain closed, complaint about lack thickens the darkness. But affirmation of abundance parts the veil, and the radiance of supply enters freely. The declaration, I live in an abundant universe, and everything I need is here for me, is not a mere wish. It is a statement of fact that summons its own evidence. The universe responds with precision to the vibration of the word, bringing forth conditions that mirror the speech. The difference between lack and supply is often only in the words repeated day after day. The person who says, money is scarce and times are hard, will see their life shaped by that decree. The one who says, money comes to me easily and constantly, will see their life shaped by that decree. The law does not choose between them. It simply fulfills the command spoken. This is why the wise watch their words with care, never allowing idle phrases of lack to slip past their lips, but instead filling their speech with declarations of plenty. Supply is obedient to the voice that calls it. It does not argue, it does not resist. It does not delay when summoned with authority. When you say, I am richly provided for, you are giving the law of abundance a direct order. The response may come as new income, unexpected support, opportunities for service, or gifts freely given, but it must come, for the word has gone forth. And once a word has gone forth with conviction, it cannot return void. It must accomplish that for which it was spoken. It is not enough to think of supply silently while continuing to speak lack aloud. The tongue must align with the mind, and the outer speech must match the inner vision. To tell others of hardship while secretly hoping for prosperity is to plant mixed seeds, and the harvest will be mixed. But to speak boldly of abundance, even in the face of contrary evidence, is to plant only the seeds of prosperity, and the harvest will be sure. The universe listens to words more than wishes, to declarations more than daydreams, to affirmations more than complaints. The rhythm of speech creates a rhythm in life. Speak of plenty consistently, and life begins to echo that song with visible supply. Speak of want consistently, and life will echo with want. Every conversation becomes an opportunity to plant seeds of wealth or weeds of lack. To declare often, I am connected to endless supply, strengthens the roots of abundance in the subconscious mind. And from those roots grows the visible tree of prosperity. It is not the volume of words that matters, but the faith behind them. A single phrase spoken with conviction carries more power than 100 phrases muttered with doubt. When you say, my good is secure, and my wealth is constant, and you mean it with your whole being, the decree goes forth like a trumpet, and supply marches toward you. Faith-filled words are irresistible. They command attention in the unseen and shape conditions in the seen. The more firmly and joyfully they are spoken, the swifter their results appear. Thus, to speak supply is to summon it. Every word of abundance sown into the universe is a seed destined to sprout. The harvest may not appear at once, but the law is certain, and the soil never fails. Speak as though you already possess it, and the possession must manifest. Speak as though you are already surrounded by plenty, and plenty will rush in to prove your words true. The law responds unfailingly to the words spoken with faith, and supply appears in the exact measure of the decree. To affirm abundance is to unlock the gates of plenty, and to do so is to dissolve the shadows of limitation that cling to the mind. Limitation is not a force outside of oneself, it is a belief planted within, fed by words of fear, watered by thoughts of lack, and strengthened by repetition of doubt. When one continues to affirm shortage, one is simply reinforcing walls that were never meant to stand. But the moment the tongue declares abundance with unwavering faith, those walls begin to crumble, for words of truth are stronger than any false structure of lack. The world trains many to give power to appearances. If the purse is light, they say, "I cannot afford this." If opportunities seem scarce, they repeat, "There is nothing for me here." In doing so, they affirm limitation, and limitation responds faithfully. Life echoes back what is spoken into it. Yet when a person, standing in the midst of apparent lack, chooses instead to say, "I live in an abundant universe, and all that I need comes to me freely," the very atmosphere shifts. The words act as light, dissolving the fog of appearances, and the law of abundance begins to manifest opportunities, ideas, and resources. Affirmation is not idle fancy. It is the blueprint given to the unseen forces that govern existence. Every declaration of abundance sets the law in motion to fulfill it. When you say, "I am richly supplied," you are not describing a hope but commanding a reality. The universe does not argue with the declaration. It responds with precision. It is only the doubting mind that interrupts the flow, speaking abundance one moment and canceling it the next with words of lack. The soil of life is impartial. It grows weeds as readily as it grows flowers, and it multiplies according to the seed planted most often. That is why consistent affirmation of abundance is essential. Repetition engraves truth into the subconscious, and once truth is established there, limitation has no ground to stand upon. When the tongue affirms wealth, health, and freedom, the subconscious accepts it as fact. The subconscious does not reason, it obeys. It carries out the instructions it receives, projecting them into circumstances, guiding choices, attracting opportunities, and arranging events to align with the decree. The one who affirms, "Everything I do prospers," will find prosperity reflected in results, even when logic cannot explain how. The one who affirms, "I am always provided for," will discover that provision arrives at the right time, through the right people, in the right way. Affirmation dissolves limitation because it reorders the inner realm, and once the inner is reordered, the outer must follow. Limitation is only a shadow. It has no substance except the belief and attention given to it. Shadows disappear when light is introduced, and abundance, affirmations are light in word form. Every time you say, "There is no limit to my supply," you shine light on the shadow, and the shadow cannot remain. What seemed impossible begins to yield, what seemed closed begins to open, and what seemed absent begins to appear. This is not magic, it is law. The universe responds to faith, filled speech as surely as the soil responds to the seed planted within it. It is not enough to think abundance silently while speaking limitation aloud. Words must align with thought, and speech must affirm truth, even in the face of contradictory appearances. To tell a neighbor of hardship while secretly affirming prosperity is to plant two opposing seeds. The result will be confusion, for the harvest will be mixed. But to boldly affirm abundance in every conversation, to let the lips overflow with words of plenty, is to plant only good seeds. The harvest may not be immediate, but it is certain, and in time it will overwhelm the remnants of lack with visible prosperity. The dissolving of limitation begins with vigilance over the tongue. Many imprison themselves daily with phrases such as, "I cannot," "I do not have," "It is impossible." These words act as chains, binding supply and restricting flow. Yet when replaced with affirmations such as, "I can," "I do have," "All things are possible for me," the chains fall away and the river of supply runs freely again. The choice of words is the choice between bondage and freedom, between lack and plenty, between limitation and expansion. Every affirmation of abundance strengthens the atmosphere of expectancy. Expectancy is magnetic, it draws matching conditions into being. The person who continually affirms, I attract prosperous opportunities. Will notice that opportunities begin to appear where none seem to exist. The person who says, money comes to me constantly and easily, will find streams of income opening in surprising ways. These affirmations are not wishful thinking, they are commands, and the law of creation is compelled to carry them out. Just as water takes the shape of the vessel into which it is poured, life takes the shape of the words spoken into it. Dissolving limitation does not require struggle. It requires persistence in affirming abundance until limitation is starved of attention. What you no longer feed with your words cannot survive. To constantly affirm abundance is to feast upon truth, and truth makes lack powerless. Lack may seem to shout loudly, but it has no strength except the energy given to it through speech and thought. Withdraw that energy. Replace it with affirmations of plenty, and lack fades as mist before the rising sun. The power of affirmation grows with emotion. Words spoken mechanically are weak, but words spoken with feeling ignite the subconscious with conviction. To declare, I am surrounded by prosperity, while feeling gratitude, joy, and certainty, sends a command into the unseen that must be fulfilled. Emotion is the fuel, and affirmation is the spark. Together they create a fire that burns away the fog of limitation and clears the path for abundance to flow unhindered. To affirm abundance is to live from the awareness that supply is already here, waiting to be recognized. It is not distant, not withheld, not reserved for others. It surrounds you now, but it takes the key of spoken word to unlock its flow into visible form. Every declaration is such a key. The more often the key is turned, the wider the gates of supply swing open, and the less power limitation holds over the mind. Soon limitation ceases to appear real, for it has been dissolved by the constant affirmation of abundance, and in its place stands visible proof of the truth that was spoken all along. Money follows faith-filled words, never pursuit. The moment one chases money with fear or desperation, it seems to slip further away, like a shadow fleeing the one who runs toward it. Yet when one speaks words of faith, calm and assured, money comes of its own accord, quietly, naturally, without struggle. It does not respond to frantic effort, but to steady conviction. The law of supply is spiritual, and it bends only to the command of faith. Pursuit suggests lack, but faith-filled speech proclaims possession, and possession attracts more of its own kind. Every word spoken in faith becomes a magnet. The lips declare abundance, and abundance answers. The tongue utters prosperity, and prosperity comes to stand at the door. When a person says, I am divinely prospered, and believes the words, money hastens to align with the decree. It may come through business, through gifts, through inspiration, through unexpected channels, but it comes because the order has been spoken. To chase money without the word is to labor in vain, for the root of wealth lies not in pursuit but in declaration. Faith-filled words carry a vibration that cannot be denied. The universe is alive, and it responds to sound, especially the sound of conviction. Words born of fear scatter energy, but words born of faith gather it and direct it with precision. To say, money follows me wherever I go, is to set in motion a current that goes ahead, preparing ways for prosperity to appear. To say, I am always supplied, is to send out a decree that bends circumstances, people, and opportunities toward fulfillment. Faith-filled words are commands written on the unseen fabric of life, and the fabric rearranges itself to match. Money is not drawn to anxious grasping, for anxiety repels it. Pursuit rooted in fear carries the vibration of shortage, and shortage reproduces itself faithfully. But when the lips declare, I am already abundant, the energy shifts. Faith does not chase, it attracts. It does not plead, it commands. It does not struggle, it knows. The one who knows through speech that supply is ever present never finds themselves abandoned by it. Money follows the decree, just as surely as a river follows its bed, because the path has been spoken into being. Words of faith create channels where none existed before. A person may not know how the money will come, but their declaration sets unseen forces to work. Doors begin to open, ideas rise unbidden, opportunities align, and resources appear as though from nowhere. Yet nothing is random, it is the natural outworking of the words. The one who says, I am open to divine supply, plants seeds that sprout in ways the rational mind cannot predict. The one who says, money comes to me constantly and in perfect ways, plants seeds that grow into streams of provision. Pursuit looks outward in uncertainty, but faith-filled words look inward to the source and draw the outer into alignment. To speak from lack is to give chase, and the chase never ends. The person who constantly says, I never have enough, is running after money with the energy of want, and money flees in response. But the person who says, I always have more than enough, is standing still in assurance, and money comes to them naturally. The law of attraction to faith-filled speech is inexorable. It cannot be broken, and it never fails. Life itself bends to the word, because the word is creative. It was by the word that worlds were framed, and it is by the word that supply is commanded into form. Money is obedient, not elusive. It listens to the voice of faith, not to the cry of fear. The servant does not follow the frantic master, but the master who speaks with authority. Faith-filled words are authority in action. To declare abundance is to take the rightful seat of command, and money recognizes the authority of that command. It follows because it must. It follows because it has no will of its own. It is energy molded by thought, shaped by affirmation, moved by decree. Pursuit suggests that money is in control, but speech reveals that the true control rests with the one who commands. Every affirmation of wealth is a step taken without moving. The lips say, I prosper in all I do, and prosperity begins to surround the speaker. The tongue utters, I walk in abundance, and the path of abundance unfolds ahead. These words are not empty sounds, they are spiritual currents. They travel beyond the physical ear, into the unseen, into the substance of life, and they carve out channels that money then fills. Pursuit is wariness, but faith-filled words are rest, and from rest springs supply. To practice faith-filled speech is to cultivate a climate where money thrives. Just as plants flourish in light and warmth, supply flourishes in words of gratitude, expectancy, and assurance. The declaration, everything I touch prospers, provides light for the seed. The declaration, all doors open for me, provides warmth for the seed. Soon the plant of prosperity grows strong, while weeds of lack wither away, starved of attention. The more consistently faith-filled words are spoken, the stronger the atmosphere becomes, until money follows with certainty, unable to resist the magnetic pull of conviction. Faith-filled words must be consistent, not wavering. To speak abundance one day and limitation the next is to pull up the seed before it has taken root. But to water it daily with affirmations of supply, to speak continually of prosperity, is to guarantee the harvest. Pursuit stops when the seed is buried, but the wise gardener knows the soil will produce, so it is with words. Once spoken with faith, they are alive in the unseen, working, gathering, aligning. Money will follow because the decree has gone forth. It is not necessary to chase, it is only necessary to affirm and trust. Thus, money follows the word, not the chase. It obeys faith-filled declarations spoken with conviction, never frantic pursuit born of fear. The one who commands with the tongue walks in mastery, while the one who chases in anxiety walks in bondage. Faith-filled words open the way, shape the path, and draw supply into visible form. Pursuit is endless running, but declaration is effortless command. Money follows not the footsteps of fear, but the voice of faith, and it arrives as a faithful servant to the one who knows how to speak with authority. Life is a game, and each soul is playing its part upon the grand stage of the universe. There is but one truth that few dare to speak, and fewer still wish to hear. No one is your friend. Not in the way the world teaches. The world teaches dependency, flattery, and false loyalty, while the law of the universe whispers of self-reliance, divine wisdom, and alignment with infinite spirit. When we seek validation from others, when we believe another holds the key to our joy, our purpose, or our salvation, we surrender our power. We place our faith in shifting sands. For people change. Their moods sway with the winds of circumstance. Their love is often tainted by need, their kindness bound by condition. The friendship you think you have made disappear when storms come, and then what remains? Only you and the law. There is a divine intelligence that works through you. It is your truest friend, your eternal companion. People may walk beside you for a time, but they cannot walk as you. They cannot think your thoughts, or speak your words, or dream your dreams. When you mistake companionship for your compass, you wander from your true path. When you wait for support, you delay your destiny. The wise soul learns to stand alone, not in bitterness, but in clarity, not in pride, but in power. For when you no longer need a friend to feel whole, the world transforms. You begin to attract those who mirror your light, not your lack. You draw to yourself allies, not anchors, supporters, not saviors. You see, the law is precise. The outside mirrors the inside, and until you are enough for yourself, no one will ever be enough for you. Declare it. I am whole. I am guided. I am free. Let this be your foundation. Speak your word and stand firm. You do not need to chase friendship. You do not need to fear solitude. What seems like loneliness is often the sacred space where your soul learns to hear its own voice. Stronger than fear, louder than the noise of others' opinions. That voice is the voice of the infinite. That voice is your true friend. Let go of the illusion. Stop waiting to be chosen, invited, or accepted. You are chosen already, by life itself. Stand in your authority. Trust the divine order, and you will find that what you once sought in others, you have always carried within. Rely on the divine, not on people. This principle stands as a foundational truth for those walking the path of spiritual mastery. In a world where relationships are often idolized and dependence on others is normalized, the soul that chooses to align with divine intelligence finds true stability. The external world is ever shifting. People come and go. Emotions rise and fall. Promises are made and broken. But the divine, the unseen yet ever-present source of all life, remains constant, immutable, and infinitely wise. When you rely on people, you lean on a crutch made of clay. It may hold you for a moment, but under the pressure of life's weight, it will crack. Friends, lovers, family, colleagues, they are all playing their roles in their own dramas. Their words are filtered through their experiences, their wounds, and their beliefs. Their support may be genuine, but it is limited. No human can give you what the divine has already placed within you. Every time you seek your guidance, worth, or peace from another, you are turning away from the source of your power. The law of the universe is clear: you attract what you radiate. When you operate from wholeness, you draw in those who match your frequency. But if you seek to fill a void within by attaching to others, you will only experience cycles of disappointment. The void cannot be filled externally. It is not a vacancy, but a call to turn inward. The divine presence that animates your being is your eternal source of wisdom, clarity, and strength. It does not abandon, it does not waver, and it does not mislead. To rely on the divine is not to reject people, but to see them rightly, as fellow travelers, not as saviors. When your faith is rooted in spirit, you no longer fear abandonment. You no longer bend to win favor or compromise your truth for connection. You become unshakable, not because you have built walls, but because your foundation lies in something greater than flesh and blood. You walk with certainty not because you know the path, but because you trust the guide. Every problem you face, every conflict or heartache, is an opportunity to shift your reliance from the world to the Word, the unspoken, eternal law that governs all things. When you look to others for answers, you receive confusion. But when you go within, into the silence where Spirit speaks, you find precision and peace. The still small voice never shouts, yet its authority dissolves all fear. It may not always give you the answer you want, but it always gives you the answer you need. People are mirrors, not maps. They reflect aspects of your inner world, but they cannot chart your course. That is a divine responsibility, and it is given to you through your connection with Spirit. The moment you begin to ask, "What does God want me to know here?" instead of, "What should I do according to others?" you step into alignment with the infinite. That alignment is what manifests true solutions, true protection, and true fulfillment. It is tempting to depend on others because it feels safer. It feels easier to trust someone we can see, hear, and touch. But appearances deceive. What seems secure today may vanish tomorrow. The job, the relationship, the praise, they are all subject to change. But the spiritual law is not. When you rely on the divine, you are not subject to the whims of circumstance. You become a channel through which order, abundance, and right action flow. There is a sacred difference between connection and dependence. The former empowers, the latter enslaves. Connection honors free will and divine timing. Dependence manipulates, clings, and fears. When you rely on the divine, you release the need to control others. You allow them to be who they are, and you trust that all things are unfolding as they should. You walk through life unattached to outcomes, yet completely certain that all your needs are met. This certainty does not come from ego, but from communion. It comes from daily practice, tuning in to the voice of the infinite through silence, meditation, prayer, or simply becoming aware of the present moment. Each time you choose stillness over panic, trust over doubt, you reinforce your reliance on the divine. You begin to see that every external event is secondary. The inner world is primary. It is the cause. All else is effect. People may inspire you, support you, even uplift you, but they are not your source. The source of your creativity, your resilience, your peace, your joy, it all originates in the divine. When you know this deeply and without question, you are free. Free from needing approval. Free from fearing rejection. Free from the exhausting effort to please, to prove, to perform. Even in your darkest hour, the divine does not leave you. Even when friends fall away, even when voices fall silent, the voice remains. The more you learn to hear it, the more you understand how deeply you are held. You stop looking outward for security and begin building it from within. You stop expecting others to rescue you and instead rise into the authority of your own spirit. The paradox is that once you no longer rely on others, you attract stronger, healthier connections. Because you no longer carry the energy of need, you become magnetic to those who also walk in power. Your relationships transform, not because others change, but because you have. You move from codependency to co-creation, from chasing love to embodying it, from seeking answers to becoming the answer. You are not alone, but you are meant to stand in your own light. The divine is not far off in some distant realm. It is within you, speaking through your intuition, guiding through your desires, correcting through your conscience. Every moment offers the chance to choose rely on people or rely on presence. The former will shake you. The latter will sustain you. And in that choice, again and again, your life is shaped. True power comes from self-sufficiency. This is not the self-sufficiency born of ego or rebellion, but the deep, unwavering knowing that all you require is already within you. The world teaches you to reach outward, toward people, institutions, praise, and approval. But spiritual law teaches that everything begins within. You were not created to be dependent. You were created in the image of infinite intelligence, complete, whole, and divinely equipped. The moment you realize this, you begin to walk not as one who needs, but as one who knows. Power does not come from control. It does not come from dominance, status, or having others obey your will. True power arises in silence. It moves through clarity, groundedness, and conviction. When you are self-sufficient, you are not swayed by opinions. You are not wounded by rejection. You are not shaken by temporary losses, because you understand that nothing real can be taken from you. What is truly yours by divine right will never pass you by. And so, the self-sufficient soul walks calmly, trusting the rhythm of the universe even when the path is hidden. To be self-sufficient is not to be alone, but to be full of inner resources, full of spiritual guidance, full of quiet knowing. The world may call this solitude, but spirit calls it alignment. Others may see you as independent, perhaps even aloof. But what you are is connected to the source that never runs dry. You do not beg the world for crumbs of attention or scrap for moments of validation. You sit at the banquet of your own spirit, feasting on wisdom, purpose, and peace. There is a strength that rises only in the absence of external support. When no one shows up to cheer you on, when no voice affirms your choices, when every hand that once held yours lets go, this is the moment you discover what you are truly made of. Not the personality, not the image, not the role you perform, but the essence beneath it all. That essence is divine. That essence cannot be broken, diminished, or controlled. It simply waits for you to remember it. Society teaches you to defer your power to experts, to relationships, to systems. But no one knows your path better than the intelligence that formed you. No one can live your life, carry your burdens, or manifest your dreams. Only you can do that. And once you stop waiting for permission, once you stop apologizing for your own voice, you begin to embody the authority that was always yours. Not the kind that demands, but the kind that simply is. Silent, present, immovable. Self-sufficiency does not mean isolation. It means integrity. It means that you no longer betray yourself to keep others comfortable. It means you do not silence your truth to avoid conflict or hide your light to be accepted. You are not here to fit in. You are here to fulfill a purpose that only you can express. And that purpose does not require approval. It only requires awareness. Every time you override your intuition to please someone else, you weaken your alignment. Every time you deny your own needs in fear of rejection, you delay your progress. True power is not about having influence over others. It is about being so rooted in your own center that nothing can pull you off course. This is the power of self-sufficiency, not coldness, but clarity. Not arrogance, but alignment. You do not wait to be rescued, because you are not lost. You do not seek to be chosen, because you have already chosen yourself. The most dangerous illusion is that you are incomplete, that you need someone else to finish your story. But you are not a half waiting for a whole. You are already whole, and those who come into your life are not there to complete you. They are there to witness your fullness, and if aligned, to walk alongside it. But whether they stay or go, your journey continues. Whether they understand or not, your truth remains. Because your power does not depend on them. It depends only on your willingness to stand in it. To live in self-sufficiency is to take radical responsibility. You no longer blame circumstances, or people, or fate. You recognize that while you cannot control every event, you can control your response. You can choose how to think, how to act, how to speak. You can choose to align with truth instead of fear. You can choose to be your own source of encouragement, rather than waiting for someone else to uplift you. This is not always easy, but it is always available. There is a peace that comes with knowing you are enough. Not in the sense of perfection, but in the sense of sufficiency. You may still grow, still heal, still evolve, but even in your process you are enough. Even in your learning, you are worthy. You are not a project to be fixed. You are a force to be remembered. The power you seek outside is already encoded within your spirit, and your task is not to earn it, but to release it. Others may not understand this. They may be uncomfortable with your clarity, your strength, your unwillingness to bend. But that is not your concern. Your concern is your own alignment, your own peace, your own path. When you are self-sufficient, you no longer trade your truth for temporary company. You are willing to be misunderstood in order to be authentic. You are willing to walk alone if it means walking in integrity, because the cost of betraying yourself is too high. Self-sufficiency is the soil in which self-respect grows, and from that soil blooms a life that is not built on dependency or compromise, but on design, divine design. You begin to speak more deliberately, love more consciously, and act more boldly. You no longer shrink, you no longer chase, you no longer wait. You rise, you create, you move. You let the world adjust to the frequency of your truth, rather than lowering your truth to fit the world. Everything in life will test your self-sufficiency. The losses, the rejections, the delays, all are invitations to return to your center. To see who you are without applause. To remember what you carry when nothing external seems to support you. In those moments, your strength is forged. not the strength of performance, but of presence, not the strength of noise, but of knowing. And that strength cannot be taken, only hidden, until you are ready to walk in it fully. Friendship based on need is unstable. It may appear comforting in moments of weakness, but it carries within it the seeds of collapse. The moment you enter into a relationship, any relationship, from a place of lack, you create imbalance. You are not sharing wholeness, you are asking someone to fill a space within you that only the divine can complete. This request is silent, often unconscious, but its effects are unmistakable. Over time, what began as connection becomes obligation, what began as affection becomes expectation, and what once felt supportive begins to feel suffocating. When two individuals come together, whether as friends, partners, or companions, the nature of the bond is determined not by words, but by energy. If one or both are rooted in fear, loneliness, or insecurity, then the friendship becomes a means of escape, not a platform for growth. You may not realize it at first. It may feel like love. It may feel like fate. But eventually, the truth will emerge, because all that is not grounded in spiritual law must dissolve. Need is not the same as love. Need clings. Need demands. Need controls. It says, "Stay with me so I can feel okay," or "Don't leave me or I'll fall apart." That is not love. That is fear wearing a mask. And when fear forms the foundation of a friendship, the entire structure is weak. The moment your friend fails to meet your emotional needs, the moment they change, drift, or evolve, you feel betrayed. But the betrayal is not theirs. It lies in the original illusion that they were responsible for your sense of completeness. Friendship built on mutual growth, mutual respect, and spiritual alignment is steady. It does not rise and fall with moods or circumstances. It flows, it breathes, it allows space. But a friendship rooted in need becomes brittle. Every word, every silence, every action or inaction is scrutinized. There is no freedom in it. There is only the constant pressure to maintain the illusion. I need you. You need me. Don't change. Don't grow. Stay who I need you to be. This kind of friendship quickly becomes a contract, not a connection. A contract of unspoken agreements, expectations, and emotional debts. I was there for you, so you must be there for me. I gave you my time, so you owe me your loyalty. But true spiritual friendship asks for nothing in return. It is not transactional. It is generous because it is full. You give because you overflow, not because you hope to be filled. People are not sources, they are vessels. The source is always divine. When you expect people to act as your emotional supply, you unknowingly burden them with a responsibility they were never meant to carry. And the more you depend on them to regulate your sense of self, the more they will pull away, either physically, emotionally, or spiritually. It is not betrayal. It is the soul's natural resistance to being used, even subtly. There is a certain desperation in need-based friendship. You may find yourself compromising your values to maintain connection. You may silence your truth, tolerate disrespect, or accept imbalance, all in fear of being alone. But no friendship that requires you to abandon yourself is worthy of your presence. You are not meant to earn belonging through sacrifice. You are meant to belong simply because you exist in alignment with your spirit. When friendship becomes a means to avoid discomfort, growth is stalled. You begin to rely on others to soothe you instead of seeking your own inner healing. You mistake distraction for intimacy. The friendship becomes a mirror of your unhealed parts, not a reflection of your highest self. Conversations become repetitive, support becomes rescue, and time together becomes dependency rather than expansion. The most powerful friendships are those where each individual stands firmly in their own identity, where no one is leaning, but both are rising. In such connections, time apart does not create fear, it strengthens trust. Silence is not a threat, it is a space for reflection. Honesty is not avoided, it is welcomed. Because both souls know they are whole, and their connection is a celebration, not a survival mechanism. It is easy to mistake attention for affection and presence for purpose. But not everyone who enters your life is meant to stay, and not every friend is meant to be forever. When a friendship begins to feel heavy, restrictive, or fearful, it is often a sign that it was rooted in need. And the lesson is not to resent the other, but to turn inward and ask, what part of me still believes I need someone else to feel secure? Friendships are sacred, but they must be free. The spirit cannot thrive under emotional contracts. The moment you require someone to stay so that you can feel okay, you place them in a prison, and yourself in one as well. That is not love, that is a substitute, and spirit does not deal in substitutes, it deals only in truth. When you begin to build friendships from a place of fullness, when you no longer need them to complete you, you experience something radically different. You stop chasing, you stop explaining, you stop managing others' emotions. You show up as you are, and you allow them to do the same. If the alignment is true, the connection will flow. If it is not, it will dissolve with grace. Either way, you are at peace. Because your well-being is no longer tied to another's presence. Need-based friendships often come with cycles. Closeness followed by distance. Affection followed by guilt, connection followed by confusion. And each time you find yourself asking, what did I do wrong? But the answer is not in your actions. It is in your energy. What you believed you lacked, you tried to receive from another. And what you tried to receive from another, you were always meant to reclaim within. It is not cruel to release friendships that were built on need. It is compassionate for you and for them. Because both souls deserve the space to find wholeness apart before they can meet again, if ever, in truth. When you stop expecting someone to make you feel worthy, you finally discover that you always were. And when that discovery is made, the way you relate to others transforms completely. Friendship should not be a place where you hide from your wounds. It should be a space where your healing is supported, not substituted. A place where you are seen clearly, but never needed to be anything other than who you truly are. When that is the foundation, friendship becomes a sacred exchange. Not because of need, but because of freedom. Not because of fear, but because of love. Solitude reveals inner strength and clarity. It is in the absence of noise, distraction, and external validation that the true self begins to emerge. While the world often teaches that being alone is a sign of lack or failure, spiritual law reveals something far deeper. Solitude is not emptiness. It is sacred space. It is the place where the spirit speaks without interruption, where truth rises without disguise, and where the soul remembers its own name. In solitude, you are stripped of performance. There is no one to impress, no role to play, no mask to wear. What remains is you, raw and real, beyond the stories others have told you, beyond the labels you've learned to answer to. This is where your real power lies, not in how others see you, but in how you begin to see yourself when there is no one else around to define you. Most people fear solitude not because of what it is, but because of what it reveals. It uncovers the parts of you that have been hidden beneath relationships, distractions, and constant movement. It brings forward your doubts, your unhealed stories, your suppressed desires. But these revelations are not punishments, they are invitations. Invitations to witness yourself fully, to embrace the totality of your being without judgment, and to begin the work of aligning your outer life with your inner truth. The more time you spend in solitude, the more clearly you hear your own voice, distinct from the voices of the world. You realize how much of your life has been shaped by the expectations of others. You recognize which beliefs are truly yours, and which were inherited out of fear or habit. In this awareness, a quiet strength begins to grow. A strength not based on reaction or resistance, but on rootedness. You begin to trust your own rhythm. You stop rushing to keep pace with others, and you start honoring the tempo of your own spirit. In solitude, decisions become simpler. You are no longer trying to balance what you want with what will please others. You are no longer torn between truth and acceptance. You begin to understand that clarity does not come from consensus. It comes from communion. Communion with yourself, with the divine, with the deeper intelligence that has always been guiding you, even when you were too distracted to notice. This clarity is not loud, but it is unshakable. It does not need to explain itself or seek validation. It simply is. And once you experience it, once you live from it, you will never again be satisfied with confusion disguised as comfort. Many seek connection as a way to avoid the discomfort of being alone. But the soul that embraces solitude discovers that connection is most powerful when it arises from wholeness, not from need. You begin to attract relationships that reflect your truth rather than your wounds. Because you have taken the time to know yourself, you no longer lose yourself in others. You no longer compromise your peace to keep someone close. You are willing to walk away from anything that does not align because you know how to stand alone. And in that knowing, you are never truly alone again. Solitude teaches you how to become your own sanctuary. You learn how to comfort yourself, how to inspire yourself, how to listen deeply and respond wisely. You become less reactive, less dependent on the moods and behaviors of others. You become steady, like a mountain, grounded, observant, undisturbed. This does not mean you close your heart. It means your heart is no longer at the mercy of external conditions. You can love deeply, give generously, and connect sincerely, without losing your center, because your center is no longer located in anyone else. There is a richness to solitude that cannot be replicated in noise. In the silence, you rediscover your creativity, your imagination, your intuition. The mind, no longer preoccupied with surface distractions, begins to open to deeper insights. Solutions arise without effort. Inspiration flows without force. You are reminded of the wisdom that lives within you, a wisdom that is always speaking, always guiding, but often drowned out by the chaos of constant company. In solitude, the volume of your inner world is turned up. You begin to recognize the patterns in your thoughts, the emotions beneath your reactions, and the habits that no longer serve you. You see your life with new eyes, not through the filter of someone else's opinion, but through the clear lens of your own awareness. And in this seeing, transformation becomes possible. The world glorifies business, but the soul longs for stillness. Solitude gives you permission to pause, to reflect, to ask the deeper questions. Who am I without my titles, my relationships, my achievements? What do I truly value? What am I here to create, to express, to become? These are not questions that can be answered in passing. They require time. They require space. They require the quiet of your own company. And when you give yourself that gift, what you receive in return is priceless sovereignty over your own spirit. Solitude is not the same as loneliness. Loneliness is the H of disconnection, but solitude is the embrace of presence. You may be alone, but you are not empty. You are full of awareness, full of life, full of possibility. You begin to enjoy your own presence. You begin to feel at home within yourself. And from this place of self-acceptance, everything in your outer world begins to shift. You stop settling. You stop chasing. You stop apologizing for your needs or hiding your desires. You walk into rooms without shrinking. You speak without fear. You choose with confidence, because you know who you are when no one is looking. The more you honor your solitude, the more magnetic you become. Not because you are trying to impress, but because authenticity always radiates. People feel your presence. They sense your peace. They trust your strength, even if they cannot explain it. You become a mirror for others, not to reflect what they want to see, but to reveal what they too could become if they chose to look within. Every great awakening begins in solitude. Every breakthrough, every shift in consciousness, every leap into the next version of yourself. It all begins when you are willing to step away from the noise and enter the stillness. Not to escape, but to return. Return to your essence. Return to the center of your being. Return to the truth that no matter how many people walk beside you, the journey is always an inner one. Solitude is not the absence of love, but the doorway to it. It is where you remember that your worth was never tied to your visibility, your relationships, or your performance. It was always inherent, always intact, always waiting to be known. The outer world reflects your inner state. This is not merely a comforting idea. but a spiritual law that governs the entire fabric of reality. What you see, what you experience, what you attract. These are not random events, but echoes of your inner world made visible. The people you meet, the situations you encounter, the patterns that repeat themselves in your life are mirrors. They reflect back to you your thoughts, your beliefs, your emotions, and your assumptions. If chaos surrounds you, it often points to a disordered mind. If peace radiates from your environment, it is because peace lives within you. This principle does not blame, but it does reveal. It invites you to stop reacting to the surface and begin correcting the root. Everything begins within. Your thoughts are seeds, and your reality is the harvest. Whatever is planted in the soil of your consciousness, whether through repetition, emotion, or belief, will eventually take form. You cannot continuously harbor fear and expect to live in freedom. You cannot cling to resentment and expect harmony in your relationships. What is within must be expressed without. The law does not forget, does not sleep, and does not fail. It simply fulfills. And it fulfills according to the vibration you carry, not the words you speak. You may speak of wanting peace, but if your thoughts are filled with conflict, the world around you will reflect war. You may claim to desire love, but if your heart holds bitterness, your experiences will be shaped by that bitterness. The outer reflects the inner without exception. This is not to induce guilt, but to awaken responsibility. You are not at the mercy of a cruel or random universe. You are the creator of your experience. Through thought, through emotion, through belief, you construct the lens through which you see the world, and that lens becomes your world. When you change the lens, the scenery shifts. Nothing in your outer life can transform sustainably until you transform inwardly. Changing jobs, changing partners, changing locations. These are surface solutions. If the same thoughts, fears, and patterns go with you, they will recreate the same situations in new forms. It is not the place that must change, it is your perception of it. It is not the person that must shift, it is your belief about what you deserve and who you are that must be renewed. Every complaint is a clue. Every reaction is a revelation. When someone triggers anger in you, it is not about them. It is about what within you was touched, what belief or wound or fear was activated. When you feel ignored, unworthy, or invisible, the outer experience is pointing to an inner story that you have agreed to carry. These stories may not have started with you. They may have been inherited from family, culture, or past pain. But they now live within you, and the outer world, like a faithful servant, continues to confirm them. Not to punish you, but to give you the opportunity to awaken, to rewrite the script, and to reclaim your power. The moment you shift your inner dialogue, your outer life responds. When you begin to speak to yourself with kindness, the people around you either rise to meet that tone or fall away. When you begin to affirm your worth, doors open where before there were only walls. This is not magic, it is alignment. The world outside is not fixed, it is fluid, responsive, and constantly adapting to match the signal you are broadcasting. Your frequency is your power, and your frequency is determined by the quality of your inner world. If you walk through life expecting disappointment, you will find it. If you approach the day expecting beauty, you will notice it. Your attention is a magnet. What you focus on expands. What you believe becomes real. This is why two people can walk through the same situation and have entirely different experiences. It is not the situation that determines the experience. It is the state of the observer. The outer world has no choice but to organize itself around your dominant beliefs. And those beliefs, once examined, can be shifted. They are not set in stone. They are not your destiny. They are choices, repeated over time, until they became unconscious. The work is to bring them back into consciousness and decide again. Even the people who challenge you are mirrors. They reflect parts of you that are unacknowledged, unhealed, or unloved. The critic shows you where you still doubt yourself. The controller reveals where you have given away your power. The one who abandons you points to where you have abandoned yourself. These reflections can be painful, but they are precise. And when you begin to see them for what they are, you stop blaming and start understanding. You stop defending and start transforming. Each difficult encounter becomes a teacher, each trigger an opening, each moment an invitation to grow. The environments you create also mirror your internal condition. Cluttered spaces often reflect cluttered minds. Neglect in the home may point to neglect of the self. Beauty and order, when present, are not luxuries but reflections of internal respect. When you begin to treat your space as sacred, you are affirming your own sacredness. When you create room, you signal readiness. When you maintain clarity around you, clarity within follows. Everything around you is a message, and that message is shaped by your inner conversation with yourself. There is great freedom in this law. It means you are never powerless. No matter what is happening around you, you can always return to your inner world and make a new decision. You can choose a new thought, a new belief, a new focus, and the world will follow. Not always instantly, not always obviously, but inevitably. The universe responds to consistency. It watches where you dwell, not just where you visit. If your thoughts of worthiness are fleeting, your results will be too. But if you build a foundation of self-respect, self-trust, and truth, the outer world will begin to restructure itself to match that stability. Your emotions are also messengers. They tell you what your current vibration is. When you feel joy, love, or peace, you are in alignment with your spirit. When you feel fear, anger, or despair, you are believing a thought that contradicts the truth of who you are. These emotions are not wrong. They are signals. They tell you it is time to pause, go within, and investigate the thought or story creating that emotion. When you correct the inner misalignment, the emotion shifts, and the outer experience begins to change as well. You do not need to manipulate the outside. You do not need to force, beg, chase, or fix. Your only task is to become so aligned within that the outer world has no choice but to reflect the peace, clarity, and purpose that lives in you. When you stand in your truth, the world mirrors truth. When you dwell in fear, the world reflects fear. When you trust the unseen begins to take form in ways that bless, uplift, and guide you. The outer world is your teacher, but your inner world is the curriculum. The lessons you learn within are the ones you pass in life, and the results you see around you are the tests already graded.